Can you hear me now? I hope you can hear me now. Okay. Let me start that over then. Okay. Yeah, I can't hear you. Can you hear me now? Hello? Because this I'm testing the mic and it's showing that it's working. Can y'all hear me now? Can you hear me? Okay, great, great, great. All right, let me start this over. My name is Miss Penny. I run the chemistry YouTube channel. You can find us on TikTok. We have a presence on Instagram, Spiritual Roots Hoodoo Community. And you can find us on Facebook too, but I'm not really active there. You're welcome. And so today I want to talk about our learning environment in Hoodoo and the way I mentor, the way approach mentorship. And it could be a lot different, but I take that position serious, and that job uh, is to get you to believe in yourself and to walk with your ancestors. Okay, that is to encourage that relationship and to help you your practice unfold safely and beautifully for you. That is my job. Okay, so let me just jump in here and we're going to address a few things as we move through this discussion. If you have any questions about the community, please put them in the chat if you're interested in our community. But this is for our newcomers too, so you'll know what to expect. Because I don't want you to get the wrong idea, and you probably don't know how Hoodoo community uh, really good looks, how they're supposed to look. Uh, it is a closed practice. Um, but without further ado, let me jump in here. Spiritual Roots Hoodoo Community is a supportive environment where members can explore, study, learn, engage in shared rituals, and practice hoodoo with a safe, holistic approach. We don't do fluff here. We don't go for the fluff here. I don't care what you're seeing on social media. That's your first introduction to hoodoo. When it's time to live hoodoo, that's when it's time to do the work. I don't understand this statement in there, Papa Shorty. So when you understand the practice, you're going to be more successful. I know what you've seen out there, but ancestors are become they are front and center. It's important for you to understand that for you get into any ATR, that's going to happen. It should be happening. That should be already together. Okay. We emphasize alignment, fellowship, encouragement, empowerment, creating a space of belonging and purpose. Because I'm going to help you tap into you to help, help you tap into what you want your life to look like. As a mentor, in my experience, just recently, I must add, sometimes people think they are ready to receive mentorship, but they are not. Hi, Gerald. They are not ready to accept mentorship. Some of them are not. They come in here with the idea that there is no work here and they are perfect. And I have to tell them, no, none of us are not because we all been touched by this. So what are you talking about? And we're sitting up here, you know, looking at these issues, but you're in denial. And every time I bring them up, you get quiet. The spirit gonna show me what you got on you. So what you want me to do? Lie? I know what you think these tarot readers do, tell you everything you want to hear. But when your ancestors, your elevated ancestors talk to you, they're gonna be telling you things that's gonna help you get in alignment. The reading will change when you change. Now, if you do the work and come back and do a reading, I assure you the reading will change. But if you're gonna resist the reading and stay in denial, that's where you're gonna stay. They love to see you approaching it and trying to do the work that makes them happy. But do know when you're dealing with elevated ancestors, they're not going to be telling you everything you want to hear. And that's how you know it's real. It's because if somebody's always telling you something you want to hear and it don't your life don't reflect it, that should be a red flag. Okay, okay, that should be a red flag. I have to tell you this. Because I'm telling you, when the elevated ancestors talk to you, they're gonna be looking, they look at you and they see the things that we need to be in alignment with so we can be successful in our work. There is no sense in getting over here and you don't want to do any of that, especially with me. I don't roll like that. Maybe somebody else do, I don't know. But I know how to do it the right way. I know tried to do it the other way and it didn't work. So you can try to do another way you think, but this way tends to work better. Okay? Sometimes people think they're ready for mentorship, but they are not. They are not open and willing to follow guidance, learn in new ways, admit vulnerabilities, and speak up when necessary. Being truthful with yourself allows you to be open with your mentor. You need to understand your spiritual needs and goals. What are you trying to accomplish? Because I'm going to ask you that when you get a reading with me. Uh, I'm going to ask you that if you're new in our community, I'm going to ask you that. Okay. Highly recommend you get a reading with me first to review your goals, design a plan, find out what needs to be aligned or healed. That's the first thing I'm going to do when you come to me with the ancestors reading. I'm going to see how your elevated ancestors want to see, the work you need to do to get in alignment so you can experience your happy life you want to experience. We're going to get straight to the point. It ain't no sense in me shucking and jiving. You can go out there and try to do them spells, and it's going to lead you right back to sitting down, having to heal yourself. I don't care what you're going to do. So why not do it right now to avoid all that? Go ahead and get the healing out the way, build up your ashe, and then do that. It's going to be better. You can't do this without the ancestors. So a lot of you come to me and you don't have an ancestor altar. It just baffles me. And I have been absolutely, vocal and clear that this doesn't work without spirits. It does not work without your ancestors. I've been very vocal about this. So I don't know what you're doing when you come to me and you're asking me things and you do not have an ancestor altar, but you're asking me about hoodoo. Please, because you're gonna have to do that. If you can't put up an altar in your home, you need to go to a tree and be dedicated to doing routine rituals there at that tree, leaving offers and stuff. Get to a tree, go outside. But that needs to be popping. I don't want to hear nothing about you about some tarot cards and this is what you do. No, no. We're trying to establish a relationship with ancestors. I don't know what you're doing with those. I don't know what you're doing. I'm being absolutely clear here. There is no protection down in the house. You know, we do it the correct way over there. As soon as you get in our community, that is why I have the welcome practitioner post. When you look into that post, you're going to see all those hyperlinks to resources where we can begin renewing our mind, healing ourselves, cleansing and purifying. That's what a lot of that needs to go on and developing relationship with our ancestors. That's what needs to go on when you first begin this. You will not be confused over there. If you're confused doing something else, that's because you're probably not doing the work or you're not going over the resources. But they are there. And if you need extra resources, whatever you need over there, when you when you tell me exactly what you need, I'm going to drop some posts in the chats and everything so you can get educated and get cracking on that goal. If you tell me what you're working with, I can better support you. I can provide you with the resources. But you will be doing work over there. And if you're not interested in renewing your mind, reading and educating yourself, and putting your rituals and things together, then it's not going to work for you. You're not interested. You think that somebody else, it's not going to work if you don't do the work. And these spirits are watching you. You're not fooling me. You know what I'm saying? You can't manipulate me. It just had this at this last reading. This person was not being forthcoming in the reading. I'm looking at the ancestors, looking at these cards. I've been doing this for 20 years. If the answer, I've been reading tarot, reading cards, doing this for so long. And so when we can see when you lying. We can see when you manipulating. We can see when you self-sabotaging. So don't try to manipulate a reader, especially when they have a spiritual relationship with their ancestors. Because you're not playing with me, you're playing with yourself. You playing yourself, you're not playing me. And for me, it's very uncomfortable to be around people and you're doing it in my face. You're doing it in front of my face. And then when I call you out on it, it kind of makes you upset when I call you out while you're doing it, because I can see the wounds on you because you begin to get quiet when the ancestors start exposing some things going on with you deeply that you need to work on. But that's what's getting people want to focus on the fluff, but there is work behind this, and the price to pay for it is doing the healing and self-reflection, really looking at yourself. A lot of people are not interested in that. Okay. Hoodoo is a practice. Again, we look at, I want to jump ahead. We review your goals, we review your plans, we design a plan, find out what needs to be aligned or healed. It's important for me to know how to support you best. Okay. I can't do this if you do not communicate. If I'm not here to read your mind or chase you to be your best self. I can see the best, the best in you. But if you don't see that, I'm not going to chase you down for your healing so you can get your magic. I'm not going to do that. If you don't care nothing about it, there's nothing I can do about it. You're making that choice. You're self-sabotaging. And like I say, the biggest ops in this is going to be yourself, because you're going to have to change everything, the way you think, your whole perception. When you start doing the work, you're going to see how your own mind, your false beliefs is going to have you self-sabotaging yourself. The welcome practitioner post is posted right when you get into the community. When you first get into the community, there's a pinned post. When you first go over there, it's pinned up there. It's pinned up there. Yes, it is. It's up there. So if you don't see it in there, I will tag you. I don't know what your name is over there. Not sure what your name is. It the same name you're using now on here? Email me. Put me in the chat. Uh, if you have a membership with us, you should have access to that post. But if you don't have a membership with us, then you probably don't have access to it. But if you're a membership in there and you join, you should have access to that post. If not, get in the chat. I would gladly send you a link to that post. Everything is lined up over there. Okay, I made sure of that. Make sure you don't have to look for anything, or if you are looking for anything, it's there. We've talked about it. If you want me to talk about it again, I'll talk about it again. We have a monthly meeting that's coming up. We have one every month. We got one coming up here this Sunday. So you have any questions and things like that, please come to the monthly meetings. I want to see you there. I want to hear how your practice is going. Okay, hoodoo is a practice that addresses issues and concerns we all can relate to, such as resolving mental and spiritual physical health conditions that no one talks about. There's a lot of psycho spiritual components to hoodoo. Okay, go ahead and send me a message in the chat, and I'll drop that post to you. but it's there. I don't see how you would miss that. I'm baffled how you would miss that, and it's pinned up there. Um, can relate to such as resolving mental, spiritual, physical, health conditions, maintaining good spirits, relationships in the home, at work, and in school, attracting luck and protective energies, and setting things right when necessary. Finally, it addresses a significant subject that is as important and elusive today as it was in the distant past: social justice. I just had to use hoodoo I'm using hoodoo today get justice where I'm at right now. And it's a trip how the ancestors lead me through it. See, I live this thing. I'm going through it right now. Okay? And I'm having to follow the ancestors' guidance on how to deal with this matter and do my hoodoo at the same time. It's a trip. See, I live this. I follow the ancestors. It's a trip. I can testify to them every time. And I really want you to have that experience. Hoodoo is known as a practice for everyday person dealing with real life issues. Hoodoo is about down to earth, do it yourself style, spiritual approach to life, the ups and downs. And you're going to learn that once you start reading these materials and your resources, you're going to develop rituals that people call spells. You're going to have relationship with spirits that's going to help you resolve those problems. Okay, that's what this is about. That's what hoodoo is about. It's gonna address your needs, but it does no good when you don't understand yourself, how your mind work. Uh, you are not in you don't even know how you feel. You don't even know how to evaluate your emotions properly. I don't know why it's pinned up there, so I don't know why it's I don't know. Maybe it's because the way what's the name? They did that page different. Patreon. They reorganized my page over there when they went to a new version or something like that. Maybe that's why it's like that. But it's pinned up there. Hi, how you doing? Life poetry. Okay, so get your mind ready for that. It can deal with your everyday life. Hoodoo can fix your life. It's fixing my life every day. Honey, these people over here thought they was gonna make a fool out of me. Ancestors said, I said no. And on the outside, honey, and see this how this thing work. It's don't That's why I say don't be listening to people or what you see on the outside. On the outside, it really looked like these people had the upper hand because they were ganging up on me. And ancestor, they ain't got the upper hand. You stand your ground. We mean that. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing to nothing because we protecting you. These folks know they raggedy, and you better stand in that truth. Okay? You ain't did nothing wrong. The energy is already there for you. You better tell them, you know. And I said, but that can't be like that because these people, they, with this stuff. And said no. When I did a divination on it, it kept saying the same thing. I said, but this situation don't look like that. Now they said, baby, we done told you this stuff on the outside. Don't let this stuff fool you. You're doing the right thing. Keep doing the right thing. We're with you. You're right on this. Stop doubting yourself. And sure enough, by the time I woke up, I was getting the message saying, well, they got the negotiating and everything. I told what I was gonna do, and I told the ancestors I was gonna do. Now they're trying to negotiate what I declared. See what I'm talking about? The ancestors is good. I can't make this stuff up. Okay, and you experience this every day in your everyday life. Every time I have a problem, what do? I run to them ancestors. What should I do? Who should I be working with? Is it a spirit you want me to work with that can, that specialize in this right here? Yeah, I go straight to I don't do nothing. I let them fix it. I don't control nothing. I go right over there. And when they tell me to go to that altar, when I step to that altar, that's where all the work go in to. That's where all my energy and emotion go into. Going when I step to that altar when they tell me to go do something. Okay, this is gonna be your everything. I assure you of this. You may not even Your understanding of spell work is going to change once you start having this relationship with your ancestors. You don't understand that. This got to be together first. Ain't no sense and you trying to do no work and it ain't got nothing to it. Okay? Hoodoo is known as a practice for everyday person dealing with real life issues. Okay? Through your daily rituals and study, you'll be prepared to move forward courageously on with power infused with the wisdom of complex nature of spirit on your side. You gonna know this. Okay? I want you to get this for yourself, but I can't make you do the work. And this is the part the people don't like. Hoodoo is a bold tradition that deals with spirit directly, particularly with how your spirit and supernatural spirits come together, positively or negatively, to affect your well being. The mind, body, and spirit connection is a topic that frequently arises in the conversation of holistic health. If you ain't got your mind, your spirit, your stuff together, it ain't going to work right. Now, when you go to looking at these resources, I'm not making this up. You're going to see this in your resources. I don't care about what these, I don't care about what you're seeing on the outside because I know it is very convincing. I just said, I had somebody sit in front of me and tell me a convincing lie, and the ancestors start calling them out in the lies while sitting with me on the reading. And that girl, I was tripping now because I was like, I have to laugh at people. I was tripping now because I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, oh my gosh, are you not being forthcoming with me? Because it was a trip. It was a tripped out experience. You can't hide from these spirits. So don't even try. Do the work. Okay? Dive in. It's going to be worth it. And you're going to have to get in contact with yourself and be real with yourself. And if you're not willing to do that, then you're going to be doing work and you're going to be hitting blocks. That's what blocks is. When you refuse to do the work, when you refuse to heal, it's certain work, prosperity work, and things like that you're not going to be able to do because you refuse to move the block. You're going to be stuck. That's what this is about. I'm breaking this down so you can really understand it. Okay? The hoodoo dealings in the arena are propelled by unflinching and relentless concerns for all matters of spirit, including viewing spirits as an integral and lively component of daily life. You will come in contact with a spirit. And if you are afraid, I mean, if you picking up magic in the first place, it's spiritual. I know the fancy little word seems disconnected from the fact that it's spiritual, but it is. So ain't no sense in you practicing hoodoo without a spirit. You find that out real quick if you ain't put that together and you still stuck on spells. If you still stuck on spells, then you're just an amateur. You ain't doing that. You ain't for real. That's how I look at that. You're playing games. Okay? With this focus on spirits, who minds of some a scary practice since as a society we tend to shy away from what we don't fully understand. If you don't understand this and you got spookism going on, don't come over here. I've made that absolute clear. You're gonna work with a spirit. And I don't know why you scared of it. Makes no sense because you keep talking of, especially many of us black Americans, as much as our ancestors talked about the dead man Jesus, we shouldn't be scared of no spirit. I'm just telling you the truth. That's why I see it. Okay, your mind, your thinking is really gonna have to change if you want to pick this up. So make sure this is what you want to do. Make sure that you're open to mentorship, that you really do want the growth. Because these spirits see you. Since that child sat down to their ancestors reading and thought she was gonna play. Ancestors said, no, she's not gonna play. We're proud that she's here, but this is the work that she needs to do. You know, if you are in the dark about the potential healing and everyday problem solving skills that can be gained through engaging with hoodoo. Okay. Spiritual Roots Hoodoo Community is the right place to help you understand, because I'm going to slow you down and help you understand. Not many practitioners, I haven't seen many that come down here and break it down like this. I just see a lot of fluff. It's just a mass production of fluff and hexing people, and you know, this is more has turned into an influence than a real sacred practice. That's how it's been promoted. Okay. And I slow you down and help you understand the history, the ancestors behind it. And we work with a lot of ancestral spirits over here, elevated ancestors over here in Hoodoo. Okay. Any questions so far? Spiritual Roots is designed to shed light on the numerous positive, impactful ways that unique collection of hoodoo resources and discussions can be utilized in your daily life. I try to make it simple for you, so you can easily integrate it into your daily life, because that's what most people are going to be struggling with: the structure, the discipline to integrate the rituals, the cleansing into their daily, everyday life, because this is a way of life. And certain things, you know, your ancestors are not going, they're not going to let you do. You would be alone a lot in this work, especially with doing the healing and learning things. They'll have you in isolation. They'll have be sitting you down. That's not abnormal. You're gonna like a little caterpillar. Okay, you're gonna be just like growing and learning things. Your mind is gonna be expanding if you are doing the work. I cannot do the work for you. Okay, I cannot do it for you. I provided you with the resources. If you're looking for some, you have a discussion. Again, that's why I recommend that, if you are struggling and if it's something that you want to know, and you want to have a more lengthy discussion and ask questions, please attend the monthly meeting. That's why it's there. Okay. With this gentle guidance and useful suggestions, you will be positioned to courageously take control of issues and concerns that once seemed out of control. There's a remedy for everything over there. Now, you're going to see a whole bunch of recipes, a whole bunch of people sharing their spells in a lot of these resources. And you will hear me say this during all these spells that you're going to be learning. You're going to see all these spells you're going to be learning. When you are looking at people's spells, before you do them, always do a divination. Ask your ancestors how they would like that to be put together, because they probably don't want you to do that work exactly the same as someone else. Okay. I always ask them, we don't go out here renegade. The primary concern of hoodoo is not only spirits but also self determination, which made it an attractive, enduring fixture of Black culture in the antebellum. We strongly suggest self determination in our community. It is important that you make time to study things for yourself. If you are struggling with a particular topic, attend the monthly meetings, start a topic in the community chat. When these spirits see your determination, keeping rituals, you are inconsistent and you are consistent and improving, they will help you. You will start absorb information faster. But it's not going to happen by trying to take shortcuts and trying to extract information with people. It's not going to happen that way. It is not. Okay? People have done this, and I've just told you, you know, I was talking to somebody and this person had a archangel table set up, and it was, the color was incorrect. Had no idea. Okay, so it's important that you learn for yourself so you can be doing things correctly. even Bobby Hemmett, all your uh, Brother Pharaoh, uh, Brother Polite. Uh, I can just go on and on. They read books, they studied. I don't know why you think that you're going to take a shortcut and not do the work. I don't know why you would think that. And then be upset when your stuff don't turn out right. That's what's going to happen there. When you think you taking a shortcut being slick, that's all that's going to happen there. And then, because I see it, you're going to come to somebody like me to try to fix it. And what I see when we try to help y'all fix it, I can't tell you how many other, practitioners probably is trying to help people. What I find is these when you try to help them fix it and do the work, they start self-sabotaging. They start finding excuses of why they can't do it. This how you could tell you self-sabotaging yourself because you'll start coming up with all type of excuses of why you can't do it instead of coming up with solutions of how you can do it. This how you know you self-sabotaging. Okay. Every time I hear somebody say, I ain't got time, I ain't got time, I said, would you please stop saying that? Yes, you do. If that's what you want, that's what you're gonna experience. Because that's your affirmation to yourself. So yeah, instead of saying I can make time and start looking, coming up with ideas how to make time, you absolutely won't give yourself a chance. So you done already told yourself what you ain't gonna do. So, it's all in your mind. I can tell when you're self-sabotaging. And then when I tell people this, no, 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 I'm not. I'm not self-sabotaging while saying you're not self-sabotaging. It just be tripping me out when I see this happening because there's no awareness there. The blinders are on. And then when someone takes the blinders off for you to see, some of us we run back in. No, no, that's not me. That's you, sweetie. Don't be, ain't nobody blaming you. We're just saying you need to heal it. Okay? You don't see it. Not saying it's your fault, but it is your responsibility to peel it back and look at it. Okay? Some people run from the work because they don't want to see it. Okay? Hoodoo is dense, rich, and complex. If you would like to utilize it to its full potential to indeed tap into your ashe, you must practice, practice, practice some more. Practice, practice, practice. Do the work. Get the spiritual baths popping. That's your best practice. Is getting the bed, taking those routine baths. That's the best way to get that started. Start developing a relationship with the water, speaking into the water. Yeah, that's gonna be your first relationship. So when you get to practicing, that's your first, really should be your first introduction to hoodoo is purification and cleansing, and maybe some fasting, ancestral veneration. A lot of this should be going on. That's enough work to probably fix your life. You just don't know it yet because no one is talking about it enough. Okay? Hoodoo is fluid, and I honor that fluidity. Therefore, while I suggest that you should start when you are ready to commit fully to the practice, do it when you are fully ready to be committed to the practice. Because if you come to me, I'm assume you ready for that. And we're gonna be looking at a game plan, whether we're looking at you get an ancestors reading with me. We're gonna come up with a game plan. I'm be giving you stuff to do according to what I see, and I'm gonna, encourage you to start developing a relationship with your ancestors right off the bat. Even if I do a natal chart reading, that's what's gonna be in the chart. Your shadow work, your beautiful attributes. You're gonna hear all that. Your beautiful attributes and how you need to get in alignment to embody all these beautiful attributes so they can work for you in your life. That's what I'm gonna be looking at. Sometimes people are baffled when they see their attributes because their life don't look like that at the time. Well, it doesn't look like that because you're not in alignment with it. Once you start getting in alignment with it, you'll start seeing these attributes more pronounced in you. but they're covered by wounds and stuff, so you don't see it. You ain't did the medicine work to even uncover that magic, to embody it. Okay. I didn't see it either when somebody told me that I would be doing this work at well, I was at about 36. That woman told me I would be doing this. I tell you, you are absolutely crazy. You are absolutely out of your mind. I did not see that in me. I did not. Even though I was doing, readings for people, my friends and stuff like that, and my family, I didn't see what that woman was telling me. And she even refused to see me, because she said I do this myself. She even refused to see me. Say, no, I'm not going to keep taking your money because you do your own tarot card readings. You are already a seer. So no, you're wasting your money by coming here. Trip me out. But she was honest and she knew what she saw in me. Did I like what she did? No. And I was upset when she did it. But now that I look back, I needed that. She did me a favor and I didn't know it. Did it feel good at the time? No. That's how you know when you work with when you get to working with your elevated ancestors and you really start doing the work, you are definitely going to feel like a child up under them because they are wiser than you and they see more than you see. And you're going to have to know how to take a L sometime. Okay? That's what people want their way. That's why you see some people that will go work with this stuff and then they're making pacts with spirits because they want what they want. If this is you, you know, if you're going to be communicating with me, I'm not going to recommend that at all. Right, not right off the bat. No. There's something probably I will probably suggest that you do on your own. But I'm going to encourage you to take a healthy, safe, holistic approach to this because I want you to see results. Okay? If you are not fully ready to practice, you will not have a solid foundation. It requires you to make some shifts and changes in yourself. It is important for you to understand that the skills improve more and more when you are consistent. If you are not going to be consistent in your practice, it's just not, that's how your work going to be. It's not going to be consistent. You get whatever you put in this, you get out. That's why we say this is a way of life. Because the more you put in it, the more you put out you get out of it. You got hoodoo practitioners that's getting up in the morning doing morning devotional maybe to about 3 spirits. Or if not that, their ancestors. That's the first thing they do. They get up in the morning, they send their scripture or some type of praise work, putting coffee on the altar for their ancestors, talking to their ancestors about their day for about 5 or 10 minutes and going on. They're doing this every day. And then some of them might do big spreads for their ancestors once a month. The dedicated hoodoo practitioners, the seasoned practitioners, they are doing cleansings every week. They are going to them altars, whether it be, a multitude of saints or their ancestors, depending on how their ancestors leading them. They're doing a lot of altar devotional work with these spirit service and these spirits. They got relationships. So when they do a ritual or a practice, they can call in the ancestors, they can call in the saint, they can call in the spirit to help them. I don't care what you're seeing here. I'm giving you the 411, the real truth. Okay. You will learn, you will have to learn about essential tools and the language of hoodoo, as well as an array of rites, altars, spells, tricks, ceremonies, recipes, gardening, stories, lores, and myths. Okay. For example, the means to use to achieve a desired situation is called land of tricks. They call it spells. Land of tricks, fixing tricks, which is akin to the European witchcraft is spells. Some of our ancestors just call it work. You see that root work because it's work. You won't be so quick to call it a spell or magic when you understand the spiritual science behind it and the work you have to do to get the job done. And you probably won't be too quick to do raggedy stuff after you heal yourself and seen the work you had to do on yourself. You won't be too quick to be doing raggedy stuff. Okay, because the first measure you gonna do is on yourself. It ain't gonna be on nobody else. It's gonna be to fix your life, fix you, and fix your life. It ain't gonna be on nobody else. Well, Helen, grandchild, I try to be as forthcoming as possible, truthful as possible. You know, that's all I can do. Try to be as truthful as I can be, so there's no misconceptions and no one is being misled or deceived. Because that's happening a lot these days. The stories that I hear how people are being misled and taken advantage of, it is ridiculous out here. It is ridiculous how they are being misled. My little heart just be, oh my gosh, the stories I've had and um some of the people have had in our community, the experiences they have had. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry that happened to you. And that situation was very raggedy. You know, it's I have no words for some of these charlatans pull on people, the audacity of it. It just be a trip. Okay, but when you start following people, I have to get people that have the experience to understand when you start looking at people, you're gonna come up short. You're looking at the wrong thing. You better be looking at a spirit because these people can't help you. And I can't emphasize that enough to you. I don't care about these beautiful faces and aesthetics and fancy talking. I don't care how much fancy talking and lip service you give. I don't care. How is your relationship with these spirits? I don't care about your spell you showing. Do those spirits move when you go to that altar? Do your ancestors hear you? Them spirits working with you. I don't care about nothing else. When you go to that altar and you sincere, and I mean you better be sincere because them spirits hear you. Because you need these spirits working for you. And if you raggedy and doing raggedy stuff, it ain't gonna work right. I'm gonna tell you now. If it do work, you better wonder why it's working. you, you better wonder what you done conjured up. And I'm telling you, I done had to fix too many people. I done had to fix too many people, and too many people have come to me for help and got then conjured up something and can't get them spirits out them because they approached that they start going renegade without their ancestors up here watching videos, just doing stuff, and now they got themselves in a pickle. And now the people that come into practitioners like me, and I told one young lady, she was in my box, you know, she was like, she's like, I got these spirits on me. I went to this person, and she had went to no, she went to Babaloo, and she went to another person. She has went to a couple of ATRs and try to get this fixed with her. And she asked me, could I fix her? And I said, yeah, I can fix you, but you're gonna have to do what I tell you to do. She said, do you believe you can help me? I said, yeah, I can believe I can help you. Do you believe I can help you? Because if you don't believe I can help you, then it ain't gonna work. And she said, you know what? You're not the first practitioners told me that these other. I said, because you keep crossing yourself up with this. You want them spirits keep on you like that because they don't want you to get rid of them. They keep crossing you up and keep letting them. Because in a sense, you still holding on to that. It's you. She said, you know what? They told me the same thing. I said, so why you coming over here thinking I'm gonna tell you something different? Because you're gonna do that same work. I don't care which practitioner you go to, a ATR, a Wiccan. If they're a seasoned practitioner, they know what they're doing. I've seen an astrologer. If we've all said the same thing, that's what it is. So why you keep going to a different person? Because we're going to tell you, if we're in contact with spirit and we're seasoned, more than likely the spirit is going to say the same thing to you. I've seen it. I've seen I had people come to me for a second opinion, only for me to confirm the first damn opinion they got from the first seer or practitioner. Stop playing with the us. Stop playing with spirit. Stop it. As I say, you can't fool no spirit, and they are baffled when we say the same thing. Let you playing with these spirits. Get somewhere and sit down and go do your work. You done wasted your time, your money because you're trying to avoid the work because you think you're gonna get a different answer. No, ma'am, no, sir, you're not. So stop wasting your money and get somewhere and sit down and do your work. Love on yourself, heal yourself, fix your life. You're gonna actually have to do that instead of trying to find a shortcut and all this kind of stuff. Do the work. Okay? So I see it all the time. I see it all the time. Don't let these people fool you. The term working means that you should try to incorporate affirmation, incantation, fasting, and prayer or meditation as you work with natural forces in order to access their spirit energy. You're gonna be doing a lot of meditating. If you're doing this work, you're gonna be at that altar, you're gonna be praying, you're gonna be saying scripture, some type of affirmations. This is if you're really doing the work, and this is work. We don't just light a candle and walk away from an altar. No, sometimes this work may last 3, 4 days. It might last a month. Depends on what we got going on. But we keep working. Sometimes we may work with a spirit. It just all depends. But we're gonna be working. Okay, that's what it is. And I know that what people's calling magic, but it's gonna take your ashe, your conjure, your mouth, your voice, your energy to move your word. Where it's gonna sit still. Many resources will provide recipes combined with various types of ritual work that will help you call up ancestors and spiritual helpers to assist you with any of your work and your healing. That's what we're doing here. Got to get you, that is our learning environment there. That's how we approach that. I don't know how other people approaching hoodoo. The ancestors lead me to approach it this way because it is the safest way. And it ensures that you see results in your work. This is how this works. I'm not making this up. That's why I got plenty of resources for you there so you can avoid the hype. Yes, that's what the hyperlinks in there for. They're to open up those resources so you can begin to learn and start your practice. So yes, the hyperlinks are in there for that, so you don't have to look around. There are posts on each of those books as well as in the hyperlink. So if you go through the post on the platform, you're going to see those lectures and videos on many of those books I've posted there. Take your time with it. It's not a rush, but yeah, they're there. Okay. I cover everything. Usually with if you're from the ritual on up to the know thyself membership, you're going to get a lecture with each book because I'm going to break it all down and summarize it for you and kind of give you, the highlights of the book and why we're looking at some of the books because some things in the book are very specific about what we should be looking at some of the books based on who the author is. Okay. But you can't get that wrong. If you get in our community, because I want to break down confusion, but what I've noticed too, that there's so much misinformation out here that people has owned as true, it's difficult for them to, you know, to shatter some of that fluff. They rather hold on to the fluff, even though they're not getting results with it. So I find that too, it's going to help you dismantle a lot of things that's being said up there, and it needs to, because if it's not working, then you know, that can't be true. It can't be something that's not working, then there is a component there. You should be looking at it. It's either you or you missing a step or you're not fully understanding something. There's a block going on. If your stuff is not working, it's a block going on with you. It's either somebody, and that's rare. I have that all the time. People say, I think they got something. Nobody got nothing on you. You most time when I get you know, prying and looking in their life, it be something they messing up on their own. Sometimes it be stuff they messing up on their own. Or they have exposed themselves to unhealthy people and they are draining their energy. They're caught up in a situation like that. They can't even start their practice because they're in a toxic environment. They got to get out of the toxic environment first before they start their practice. I got people like that, yeah. This is intergenerational trauma that some of us are carrying. We're in a messed up situation. We know we need to shift to a more spiritual lifestyle, but some of us in a crazy environment and we can't even do it. We got people like that out there too, and I'm understand that as well. And so I recommend again, I start giving them resources and stuff to help them along the way. And some people use some of those resources and it helps them. Okay, this is the work. You're going to see a lot of these topics being brought up in a lot of your resources that no one cares to talk about the intergenerational trauma issues that we have going on in our community that hoodoo is centered around. Okay, so even though you have these books in here that's going to provide spells, it is important for you to do a divination and ask your ancestors, use your own intuition and crafted them, making them personalized and your own. You can even go, I'll get into that more when you're in our community to help you give amplify your work. Remember that hoodoo has an animistic foundation. Animistic philosophy addresses each element or aspect of nature as alive. We look at all the plants, the herbs, and we don't just be picking stuff up and throwing stuff in it. You know, we know these plants are alive. We respect these plants. We honor these plants. That's why you'll hear me tell a lot of people, yeah, it's good to do your rituals outside. Because that's the more ancestors you got help you doing in your work. You got nature. They're your first ancestors. So you're calling those good spirits into your work as well and honoring them as well. We look at them as ancestors too, because look at how John the Conqueror, he's a root. So it's apparent that nature is our ancestors if we got John the Conqueror and hoodoo and many other elemental spirits. Okay. I need to get you to understand that too, because there seems to be a disconnection there with people not understanding that they're just throwing herbs and stuff together. There is no sacredness in the approach to some of this work. Speaking directly in to the pot, fire, candle, and herb are essential. That's why I tell people when you do a spiritual bath, you need to be praying into that water. You need to be talking over that water. The vibrations from your voice needs to be on that water. It's changing the molecule, it's setting the intentions for the work. They already told you that sound has an impact on water. You have seen the scientific study. This is going to be your first relationship with water. We truly can change the molecule and the intentions and tap into energy and magic, whatever they want to call it, when we start working with water. You're going to see it for yourself. Because after you take these spiritual baths, you're going to start seeing shifts in your environment. I got a bath so far, honey. I took a bath so far, baby. It was a 9-day bath. When I got through with that bath, I saw so much shifting and stuff changing. I said, oh my God. This is just after a bath, a 9-day bath I went on. That bath was so tough, baby. It pulled back a whole bunch of stuff. I said, oh my God. All that happened after a 9-day bath? Yes. It'll change your life. Don't you think that it can't? That's why I'm telling you to read on spiritual baths, start taking them. And one bath doesn't always do the job. You might have to do this ongoing, depending on how your ancestors lead you and what you're trying to do. Okay, so you're gonna have to get familiar with all of that. Objects from nature are imbued with anaism as shay. So they have a universal energy force within them that connects us all. To simply use herbs, flowers, and stones, bones, fire, or water without paying homage to their life force insults spirits. Okay, not gonna work if you don't understand this. I know what you're saying up here, the spiritual bath. They better be talking over that spiritual bath. They better, you better have a whole what you call a church service going on up in that bathroom. That's what needs to happen for it to be really effective. To really do the psycho spiritual shift with it and to really get the energies of the bath working for you, the energies of the water working for you. Okay? In our Hoodoo community, there is a listing of some of the most useful resources, discussions to help you in your journey toward practicing Hoodoo. Some of these ways and means will seem very indigenous, whereas others will seem more Western. However, you slice it, those tools will enable you to see progress on your journey. You're going to see a wide variety of things. You're going to see pentacles. You're going to be introduced to pentacles. You're going to be introduced to seals of Moses to help you in a lot of your work. You're going to be introduced to angels. You're going to be introduced to hoodoo, a lot of hoodoo saints. And we're going into hoodoo saints again. We just covered some this month where we talked about how hoodoo uh will, I don't even know how to say the best word that I can explain, will interchange with voodoo. So we saw that when we looked at the Underground Railroad spirits and Harriet Tubman. So we just looked at that. So we're going to be going further into more hoodoo saints. So you're going to be able to learn these things for yourselves and how to work with them with a guidebook, how to set up a table, what they like, to sit up an altar and put the things they like on there. You will be learning how to work with spirits. That's what ancestor veneration is all about. That's how your spells going to work, most of them. Hoodoo is about joining personal power with nature. This is done through certain rituals designed to create our needed change. The type of change determines the form of the earth power or the natural power used. Nature power is divided into four divisions: earth, air, fire, and water. In performing rituals and works of magic, many people begin to see positive shifts and results. Instead of seeing their lives as endless series of tests, disappointments, failures, they view life as a joyous celebration and union with other humans, animals, the earth, and with that which created all. That's what's going to happen when you start applying this the right way, approaching it the right way. Have a clear understanding of why we're working with dirt, why we're working with candles. Okay, to have a clear understanding of how these elements assist us in our work, so we can have more of a sacred approach to it. Because when you're not connecting any of this and you're just doing something that you saw and you don't understand those components, I don't know how effective it's going to be for you if you don't understand what you're doing and what you're picking up and why you're doing it. Why are these elements here? Or how to even honor all the elements that you're using. Okay? A spiritual lifestyle isn't one spent solely on spell casting, herb collecting, and chanting. It's one in which a build relationship with real energies of nature, in which we feel the cycles of nature transforming us, in which we as human beings respect the unseen forces that shape our world and give us life. That's why we do, things at a certain time. to work with some of these nature spirits. And you're going to see this a lot in your resources. I'm not repeating anything that you're not going to see in your resources. Everything that I'm saying here has been written by, you know, by black people who have written books on hoodoo, or anyone who practice conjure a hoodoo, or anyone that really, this is some of this stuff I'm explaining is the basic for any spiritual lifestyle, especially someone who claims to be practicing magic. Now, don't ask me why, when I hear stuff like this, I know when I first started, and I'm looking at this and I start seeing people come out here talk about spells or something. I was like, why they skipping this part and telling them people that them people gonna be doing it and it ain't gonna work? Why is you telling them that? Please don't tell them that. I just start saying that because I study. I look at it. I've been studying this for a long time, over 20 years. So when I see people doing it, this is a common practice. I don't know why they doing people like that. Why are you telling them that? Why are you not telling them? And what you're saying is not true. It's not entirely true. You don't know what you're talking. No, I've looked. I see people do this all the time. I just see it all the time. Okay, so that's why when people come to me, I instantly start prying. I have to instantly start prying because I know most of the time it's gonna be something going on with you that you done picked up somewhere that's not working, that you're not supposed to be doing. Okay, I'm gonna find that out. And usually when I tell you you fix it, things get better. I see it so much because it's being practiced here. People are, that's how they are approaching it to you. And it's just, you know, I have to explain. So you want to be in this practice or any practice of that matter, do know that you'll have to get in alignment with these cosmic forces, with this universal energy. The more alignment that you are with your chart and with these natural energies, the better your life is going to be. And getting in this alignment is all about being open to shifting, changing, and healing. That's why we got 4 seasons. That's why we got moon phases. That's why we have retrogrades and the planets move. They're all shifting and changing. And if something is not working right in your life, it's because you're refusing to heal something or change something or shift something. And some people, they don't want to. They like to remain raggedy. I don't want to change. I'm just like that. But you stay like that. Ain't nothing gonna change then as long as you stay like that. Okay? As long as you stay like that, that's what you saying that's all you want. So you just stay right there if that's what you want. These are all choices that you have to make. Okay? So if you don't do the work, it, I can't emphasize that enough. A spiritual lifestyle is easily attained. It's certainly worth achieving, for in this heightened existence, problems become solutions, doubt becomes hope, and life itself is transformed into a positive, happier, more fulfilling experience. And it will be. I'd recommend if you're doing any healing, for that matter, you're gonna have, I don't know anyone who's doing some serious healing that is not using a spiritual component, whether it is yoga or meditation, to assist them in their healing. They're picking it up if they're serious. If they're serious, they have picked this up. They got some type of meditation, some type of yoga practice, something that connects them with the divine. It's going to be more effective that way. Okay, hey Miss Penny, I was listening to your last live at work the other day. You was going in. I said Miss Penny got her rest last night. How are you doing? I'm doing okay, Black Magic Mike. Okay. So again, it is a lifestyle. And it can be as happy as you want it to be. But if you come in here with doubt and fear, that's what your practice gonna have, and you have to remove that. And I know a lot of us are in that because we're in survival mode. It's not like Miss Penny don't understand. But if you're coming here, you have to be willing to get out of survival mode and do the work. I know that we come with trauma. I know that we inherited it. That's why we have the Know Thyself membership where we address those issues. And some of those issues are heavy. We're trying to change ourselves. We don't like this raggedy stuff in our family, and we don't like that this raggedy stuff been passed on to us. And we healing ourselves and making the shifts and changes as we become aware of some of this stuff, these behaviors and pathology that was passed on to us. We're not blaming anyone, but we do take the responsibility to do the work, and we have heavy discussions and go over our workbook uh to start talking about these things and start healing these things. We definitely go over them. So I addressed it. I don't know, no, because I know you come with that. That's what hoodoo is all about. That's why it was created. So why wouldn't we address that? I'm gonna put that in your face. That's why it's closed. And I don't appreciate people getting in my box asking me, you don't know, that don't look like me. I've been absolutely clear. You have none of this in you like this. Asking me, can you be over here? I mean, it's so tiresome. You got a mental problem. Something's wrong with you. I got to look at you like that. I got to look at you like that because I done told you it was closed. And here these people that hit kill half our ancestors still doing regular stuff, and you want to come over here instead of calling on your ancestors. Why won't you call on your own ancestors? Why won't you do it? Call on your own ancestors. You know, I can't. I have to keep telling them it's closed. Some of them. I understand why you would do that, and I don't see none of us doing that to y'all stuff. I really don't. You force y'all stuff on us. You know, I don't understand it. For the life of me, it just baffles me. We strongly recommend being consistent in your rituals. This awakens the magic within us. They prepare the mind, the body, and the spirit for coming magical act. The more you practice your ritual, the better, the stronger your belief system is going to be. The stronger your intuition is going to be. Okay, and stronger your relationship is going to be with spirit. That's why these rituals need to be ongoing. And then we got to break up a lot of this raggedy stuff on you. It's breaking up a lot of this raggedy stuff on you too, when you consistently doing the ritual. Okay. And you're gonna start seeing shifts and changes. If you're consistent, you're gonna start having dreams. If you sincerely seeking and you really want to do this, I assure you, spirit gonna show up every time. They gonna show up if you for real. But if you are shucking and jiving, not consistent, and you're not doing the work, then I can't promise results. And you know if you're doing that. And I can't do that for you. Some people would try to, avoid the work. I know when you're doing it because you'll be asking me questions that you already have resources on. You be coming up with excuses of why you can't do something or you because they do it every time. And I'd be like, the resource right here. I think the other problem you're wrestling with, eh, you know, is your belief and your willingness to do it. I think that's your issue here. I don't think it's anything to do with this. And then I have some people say, I think you're right, Miss Penny. Okay, because they're frustrated. And you can't be like that. You get frustrated and not willing to do it, and you're trying to find another way out. It's something else. It's not you. Most of the time, it's you. If something ain't working right, it's you. And I know you don't want to hear that. I didn't either. If your stuff ain't working right, it's you. Don't blame it on nobody else. Especially if they've provided you with all the resources and they've provided you with all the support and stuff you need. Because I do here, believe me, I know my value. I know what I provide. Most practitioners don't provide this much disclosure and this much support for the people they mentor. They do a snatch and grab. They out of there. They get your money and they don't provide you with anything. You're just left there on your own. No one can break this down and come here and explain this to you and give you full disclosure. But they can show you a spell. That's what's happening out here. So I know what I provide. You got full value. So if you don't want to learn this, and I'm not gonna too, I'm gonna state this in all respect. I'm not gonna let you come over here too and play with me, to play with my value. I won't let you do it. Okay, so I have even boundaries with my time because I know how much value I already provide coming here. And some people are not even in our community, and I still provide a lot of resources here freely. I know what I do when I open my mouth. I know what's happening. I know how I'm giving. Okay. That you hear Black Magic Mike in there, he said you offer a master class. You will be a master at this. You will not uh be in doubt of anything. You will have access. If something come up, you'll have access to those resources. All you got to do is put in the work and start doing it. You have to do the work. I don't care what. Nobody's going to be holding your hand when you standing up on them spirits and you petitioning and making declarations about what you need to move in your life. You're going to be advocating for yourself. You're taking back your power and you're going to have to do it. I don't care how many people you think that's better than you. Ain't nobody better than you. Ain't nobody magic better than you. I have to tell you that too. Because somewhere in your mind, you being distracted by these fancy faces and aesthetics. You think and all this fancy talking, you think somebody better than you. Ain't nobody better than you. You can do the same thing and petition the spirits like anyone else. That's your birthright. So I got to get that in your head too, because some of you think you ain't worthy. You think somebody better than you. And I gotta get that out your mind. Because religion, beat some of us down, think we sinners and we can't ask for nothing. That we don't deserve no good life. We don't deserve good things to happen to us. We don't deserve to be whole and healed. So I got to get that in your mind too. I know you struggle with it because I struggle with it too. Okay, I have to constantly work on myself. My work is not on. Don't stop because I come here and mentor you. It is because I've gained the strength and the courage and the support of the ancestors to come out here and speak. And I do not do this alone. I do this with my ancestors, my elevated ancestors being front and center at all times. Okay, that's why I'm able to do this. So you be consistent. Okay, they prepare the mind, the body, and the spirit for the magical act and all that. They begin to rouse your personal power. Rituals are meant to attune you with the energies of nature and your ancestors. That's what it's going to do. Every time you go to your altar and pray, you're putting yourself in alignment with that spiritual energy. You're leaving yourself open for communication and for them to intervene and make intercession in your life. The more you go to your altars, the more rituals you do. That's what you're doing. You're putting money in the bank to ensure that heaven, the God, and the ancestors is always protecting your life, every part of it, and keeping you aware of the things that's hindering you from progress, blessings, and prosperity in your life. That's what you're going to be doing. I want that for you. But if you don't want it for yourself, I'm not going to chase you around and convince you that you deserve it. It is a commitment. And even if these people was doing church right, if they was doing church the way they doing what Jesus do and doing what that word really said, they would be better Christians. But even they don't even follow follow their religion the way they supposed to. You ask me, the hoodoo practitioners is more Christian than the people in the church. There's members in the church. That's just my. Because I can't tell you enough. You talk about what Jesus do, and you don't do what he do. And then the hoodoo practitioner come along and do what Moses and all the prophets and Jesus do, now they evil. I mean, make it make sense. You know, when people do, and that then it makes me understand why Jesus was even this story. Jesus even goes this way because he was damned if he do and damned if he didn't. He did exactly what they word was telling them to do, and they still unalive them anyway. So he still wanted the spiritual warfare with them people. So as a hoodoo practitioner, be expecting that. Okay, the prophets went through that. Even they was doing what God. If you're doing what is truthful and you're standing in your truth and you're healing and everything's like that, be expecting for them things to rise up in people. Be expecting to go in spiritual warfare, especially in your family. If you're breaking intergenerational trauma, you're gonna see them spirits. They're gonna have a grip on your family, especially if you're healing things and you're not accepting any more of their abuse. If they're abusive or anything like that, and you're gonna see it. Okay, especially if they're Christians too. You'll see it too if they're Christians too. That's why I tell people, don't tell them your practice. It's none of their business. You still a child of God. You don't have to be a Christian to be a child of God. You still a child of God. Okay? A child of God and a Christian is two different things. We actually do what God do. We live the life. I don't know what Christian they talk about what God do and talk about what Jesus do and never have the strength and never do the healing to gain all this power because Jesus said even you would do greater things. None of them ever tap into the greater things. I'm just explaining to you. You ask me, nothing changes over here. You still a child of God. Nothing changes that. You don't have to prove anything to nobody. You don't have to sway them your way. Let them have their way because everybody can ascend with you. You may be the only person in your family ascending to that sort of consciousness. They haven't made it there yet. And if you wake them up, are you ready to go into war with them things that's got a hold of them? Are you ready to go to war with that? You better you better have your protection stuff together if you're gonna do that. It's not even worth it's wasted energy. Okay? And that's another thing too. When you start doing your work, getting into your work and you start doing this work, you really gonna have to maintain your energy. Okay, especially with people that try to drop your vibration because it can mess up your work. I was doing some work the other day and I was like, this person was really trying to engage me in a conflict with them. And for some reason, I was like, instead of engaging, I was more curious about why they were so interested in trying to engage me in conflict with them. And I asked the ancestors, I said, why is they so interested in trying to engage in conflict? They said, girl, that's that spirit inside of them. They know you doing that work. Don't you even do it. You keep your vibes high and go say your gratitude list and keep your stuff flowing, girl. You got too much stuff going to be trying to waste your energy with that. Don't lose your energy with that. Okay? So don't meet your man, especially when you got some work involved in. Just be nice and go on. Just be nice and go on. You don't want that. You don't want none of that to mess up your vibes. You don't want none of that to mess up your work. I see why some of our ancestors just avoid conflict and just went to the spirit and handled it later. Because they didn't want a lot of them didn't want nothing messing up their work. Okay. They ain't want that mess up. Don't be trying to get into it with whatever. You like being petty and all that stuff. You better look at how you wasting your energy because that energy could be going to fuel your magic instead. Transform that to fuel your magic. Don't because people will do it. Right. You'll start seeing it. Right when you be start doing some good work and it's going good, you'll start seeing that contrast. Those other spirits come up and people, you be like, wait a minute now. Wait, you be like, why is this going on now? It seems like as soon as you start doing some work like that, these other energies get to popping off. So really take care of yourself. Really be aware. There's some awareness that has to come with this. Okay. I just gave you a gem right there. You probably don't even know it. Okay. The connection between the energy in the body and the energy in nature is triggered by something that some call resonance alignment or alignment. This is where the vibration of energy in a single body is amplified in alignment by other bodies and natural forces. Our goal is to help practitioners tap into these energies and use them subtly and even dramatically change yourself in the world, both from the external material standpoint as well as individually from a conscious standpoint. That's what's going on when I got you reading, I got you reprogramming yourself, you're doing the baths, you're doing the rituals. That's what's all going on there. Inner change is happening. While the inner change is happening, the outer change is happening. You're building the inner world, which is gonna inner world with intentions, which the outer world has to respond no matter how it look. That's what it's gonna be. Okay. There's nothing going on the inside of you that's not going on the outside of you, and we have to change that and show you your power in the situation. The more you master you and yourself, the better you're going to be able to master what's going on around you and how you participate in it. Does that make sense? All this works together. You're going to play a conscious part. Ain't nobody sitting up doing no work like this if they're seasoned and not being aware. You have to understand these laws of nature and how this spiritual science work. And that's what I'm going to help you understand in hoodoo. Our ancestors do. That's why they were fasting. That's why they were praying. That's why they was up at that church, getting up in the middle of the night praying and stuff like that. There is a science. That's why they had the almanac. So there is a science to this. And I do apologize if people are not presenting it that way, but it is. And after you have seen it work for you, and you see it actively work for you, I don't think you'll be using the word magic and spell, you know, like that. I assure you of that if you're doing it right. We need to look at magic as a spiritual science. Our role as a practitioner within it to truly understand such a practice represents a relationship because magic is not an inanimate process or force, it is instead a sentient, a conscious, a conscious sentient and at times seeming to have independent will of its own. We need to realize this fact when engaging with it. Magic is made of stuff of consciousness. It's going to take your mind to be right to do it. And what did I tell you? I told you that you're going to be, again, communicating with these higher intelligence through your mind. And when you see your magic unfold, it's a trip when you see it, especially when these spirits be helping you do stuff. You be like, "Oh my God," you know. That's why you need to be opening your mouth. You need to be talking. A lot of this stuff gonna be moved with your mouth too. You're gonna see how magical your mouth is, your voice is, your vibration is. You're gonna see that with water as well when you get to talking to it. Okay, this is the spiritual science. Nobody explained it to you like that, but I'm breaking it down. It is important that you understand magic has a fundamental problem when summoned to manifest unearned fortune or fame. It typically fails. If you don't have no where they want their life to go, they don't have any plans. No, they don't know where they're gonna see themselves 5 years from now. They don't have any hobbies or anything, dreams or anything they trying to create abundance in their life. Well, how you think spirit gonna work with that? You have to have some type of direction, goal, or vision for your ancestors or spirit to help you. They don't just, it's still your life. You still got free will. It's still your life. You can make it be whatever you want to. That's what's so special about this. When you make up your mind what you want, your goals, your visions, then uh that you can get in alignment with it and these spirits will help you. But if you don't have that and you're in survival mode, then you're in survival mode, then you're gonna be always putting out little fires. Long as you in survival mode, you're gonna be doing a spell here and the speller and the speller, and it may or may not work. I'm just telling you, you gotta have to do the work. And if you don't know where you're going from, if the spirit can't tell you, you have to choose that because it's your life, it's your free will. So once we make up our mind, we go to our ancestors and ask them to assist us in our goals and visions. And they start lining things up for you. And you can start looking at the work that you need to do to get to these goals and these visions and dreams that you have. And it's good to have that. Okay? That's where you're going to see, things knocks your socks off once you have that in line. But if you don't know where you're at and you're in survival mode, you don't know or whatever, then it can't work. You can email me. Let me put my email in the chat. You can email me if you are interested in booking an ancestors reading. Okay, but if you don't have any goals and dreams, and I understand, that's why I tell you before you book a reading with me, because I was talking to the ancestors about that. I said I want them to get the most out of their reading, but you're not gonna get the most out of it if you don't know how you want your ancestors to support you, and you don't know what you want your life to look like. Okay, they want to help you, but when you don't have any direction, and if you are not ready to heal certain things in yourself, then your elevated ancestors can't help you. Okay, so that's why when you book a reading with me, I say ask your questions, prepare yourself for the reading, prepare yourself to be open and forthcoming about your reading, about the reading when you get there, and have your questions together. You have any questions? Have those questions together. Okay, and it will be an ancestors reading. Okay, it's not gonna be about your husband. Ain't gonna be about your kids. It is for you. Okay, I get some people here come to a reading and they asking about other people. Well, I'm not reading that person. That person's not here. I'm not doing that. That's not what this is. You booked a reading for you, and we are looking at you. If that person want a reading, they can come here. Okay, so you get people trying to do that too. It's weird when I see it happen. I'm like, we're talking about you. This reading is for you, right? Yeah. Okay, so why are we talking about them? This don't have nothing to do with what the spirit is addressing you. Okay. So I have to keep that clear. It's so much fantasy and stuff going on out here. You know, the way they're presenting this, people are detached from reality. And spirituality don't mean detached from reality. It doesn't mean that. It ain't that new age love and light stuff has been messing people up too, because we don't do that over here. Hoodoo, we got real life problems. We got real life solutions over here. So if you're getting over here with that silly dilly new age stuff, I don't know how far you're gonna get with it, because we don't do that over here. We do real work over here. We deal with real issues. So if you in some type of fantasy, twin flame, and all that crap, that ain't this. That ain't this. We deal with real issues over here. We do real work over here to deal with real life issues. We are shifting and changing our life. So when you come up with that, I can't help you with that. Somebody got in my comments with that. I was like, I don't even know what to tell you about that. You keep on doing with that. Good for you. They keep working for you. Okay. Somebody got in my comments and told them, please don't say that ever again. Don't say that ever again. Don't say that again. I just laughed. That was so funny to me. Okay. But we don't do that over here. And I'm going to dismantle all the misogyny, all the colonization, and all our resources. There will be no fluff there. Dismantle all that. I got to keep it real with you, because our mind being played with so much that they done already told us somebody out the sky. We love fantasy. And I think that's where it comes from. We got the Santa Claus, then we got the Jesus coming out the sky to save us, and our life gonna be good when we get to heaven. That's when we gonna get the mansion, because we can't be alive when we get the mansion and be rich. We're gonna have, we got these fantasies, so much of fantasies that's in a lot of our programming, and so sometimes people they resist the truth because they want this programming. You see it for yourself, some of you. Okay, and it leaves you susceptible, a lot of people, to following people, and they start, getting hijacked. That's really gonna be happening. You're gonna be getting hijacked as long as you're looking at these pretty little faces and things like that, and not willing to sit down and look at a book and educate yourself and take accountability and responsibility for your spiritual decision. Then you're gonna be stuck. I'm telling you the truth. I can't get it for you. This is something nobody in the world can take from you. This is probably going to be the most difficult work that you do that no one can take from you. This is the beyond any education that you've ever received. It's going to amplify every part of your life if you do the work. So don't expect me or anyone else to be do the work for you. It's not going to happen. I see it too when people come to readings. When you get the readings from me, come get a reading from me. I'm not going to give you a full education on hoodoo in one reading. That's not going to happen. The only way you're going to get a full education on hoodoo is you get in there in the community. I see people try to do that. They'll ask me a lot to get an ancestors reading, but ask me so many questions about hoodoo because they're trying to learn hoodoo in one sitting. I see it. Or they're trying to learn hoodoo one on one. Even if you learn hoodoo on one-on-one, you still have to study. You want somebody to hold your hand and stand with you. It doesn't matter. Either way it go, you're going to be standing in front of them spirits by yourself, opening your mouth, making declarations and decrees. So I don't know why you're trying to avoid it. It's going to have to happen. It is your life. It is you that's trying to heal. It is you trying to fix your life. And there, when I see that, I see a lot of healing work that needs to go around codependency. Some people can't make a choice. They have to have somebody telling them what to do. And you have to ask yourself, why are you like that? Why you don't like having your power? Why you like giving your personal power away? Why you feel like that you are not insightful enough to follow your own guidance? When did it happen? You got to ask yourself questions with that. I see that every time when somebody asks me something with their ancestors. How much should I do with that? I don't know. Did you ask your ancestors? Did you ask yourself? That's your practice. This your work. What you feel. You know the work to do. Okay? Stop giving it to somebody else. You know what to do. Do a divination. You'll be doing a lot of divinations in hoodoo. In any practice, you're going to be doing a lot of divinations to get answers for things, to get insight on things. You're going to be going right there, asking your ancestor, elevated ancestors, your spirit guides with the divination. I don't care how it look. It can be bones, it can be dice, it can be a pendulum, it can be a tarot card, it can be thousand rods. I don't care how it look. You're gonna need one. Okay. It is important that you understand magic has a fundamental problem. So I've already told you you have to be working with something. Okay. What magic does accomplish well is set in motion a powerful potentializing force that requires practical non-magical action. What did it say? Practical non-magical action. That means you're gonna be fasting. You probably gonna be praying and making declarations and petitions. Okay? It's gonna be people don't connect this together, but after you do these things, you're gonna see your stuff work. And then you have to say to yourself, is this magic? And focus work in order to realize the potential. So it would be work be doing that. You might have to get in alignment. You might have to do some healing work. start working on something, your inner child work or poverty mindset, you might have to do those, do say affirmations, gratitude every day to start reprogramming your mind to move that work along. Yeah, that's the work behind it. That's what some people don't tell you. Okay. And it's gonna work as long as you're doing the work and you sincere because them spirits watching you. Okay, you're gonna get results. If you're doing the work, I can't tell you enough. They see you. It ain't gonna be like out of Hollywood. If you expecting that you see ghosts and stuff flying around and all that, it ain't gonna be that. So stop thinking it's gonna be that, and stop fishing for that. Because if you're fishing for something supernatural, or you're expecting something supernatural to happen every time you go to your altar or something like that, or the practitioner got to be supernatural and all this, you're gonna cross yourself up. Because now you're seeking a thrill. You want a good thrill. It's not about the practice anymore. It's got to have a thrill to it for you to believe it, and that's gonna get you messed up. Because spirit speaks subtly. You're gonna see this in your resources every time. If you're reading the resources and things like that, you're gonna understand how your ancestors speak to you. We break that down thoroughly, so you'll understand how that communication is gonna look with your ancestors. You will not be wondering anything. You will know how that looks, and you will know when it's happening. So, or if you are confused about ancestor veneration and spiritual communication over there, it is because you are not looking at the resources. You're not having the divination. You're just not doing the work. And I will say this again. If you come to me and ask me this, I'm going to refer you to a resource. You're going to be mad at me because I'm going to refer you right back to that work. There's no reason, absolutely, that you should not know that. Especially when I have covered it and gave you a full lecture on it, and probably posted so many resources on it. There is no reason that you should not know it. You cannot be over there and be stagnant. It's not going to get you nowhere. You're going to find yourself in stuck if you because you want to be there. The only way you stay stuck is you choose to be there. You don't choose to be the work. I've had somebody, well, I be tired when I get off work. Well, you need to be working with an archangel then to improve your energy. That's what you need to be doing. Or you need to start making a goal to do this once a week. You're going to have to start making time because you self sabotage yourself with your, too, with that tiredness. They be them spirits on you like that. You probably need to beef up your spiritual baths and, and start knocking some of that sluggish energy off you. Look at where you are wasting your energy. Yeah, you be unconsciously doing and swearing that you ain't doing it on purpose. No, it ain't that. Yeah, it be that. The ancestors be telling you that. Some of y'all that. And you steady be in denial. Sometimes you leave away from the reading in denial. I'm not trying to attack. I'm just telling you the truth. Okay, I'm telling you what I see and what the ancestors have to guide a lot of people on because they resist doing a lot of the work. They don't want to be consistent. They this because they think this is a trendy thing. This is not a trendy thing. It's a way of life. Some of this is healing our life. It is saving our life every day. This is not a cute little pretty trend to us. We for real. Okay. Some people got aesthetics and making this look pretty. Sometimes it's not pretty. Sometimes my ancestors told me some stuff, told me to do some stuff, and I don't like it. I'm over here punching the air, throwing tantrums because I don't want to do it. But I do it anyway because I know it ain't gonna work until I do what they tell me to do. And they have to fuss at me and say, "You was over there throwing attention." I am. I am. I don't see why you won't do it the way because that's not the way we want to do it. That's not the way we're doing it for you. You don't need it like that. We know what we're doing. You do not. So go ahead and pout. When you get done pouting, do like we asked you to do. And that's usually how they go. And you're gonna be like a child under them because they see things that you can't see. They know how things be done. You say that you want their help, let them help you. If you knew how to do it, you wouldn't need their help. So I have to get people to also understand. Don't you think you know more than your elevated ancestors, because you don't. We still got protocols. We still got procedures over here. We still got structure over here. If your ancestors tell you not to do it, then don't do it. They might tell you to do something else. Okay, or they may tell you, hey, this is not the time because you need to heal this and that. We don't want you doing that because you're gonna get yourself messed up some more. So we don't want you doing that. They know what they doing. You don't. You're just a child up under them, and you will feel that way. So get used to feeling that way. Get used to being said no. Get used to them telling you stuff that you don't want to hear. Okay? And they be right every time. And you'll start appreciating that as long as you keep yourself open to guidance. But if you keeping yourself open to, fluff and hearing what you want to hear and all that stuff, then I don't know what to tell you. But then you're gonna get guidance over here, and the ancestors is not gonna be telling. That's how you know it's work. That's how you know it's them. When they correct you and call you out and be like, nah, that ain't what we told you to do. Get over there and sit down and be quiet. That's how you know it's them. Okay? That's how you know, and you go right over there and do it. Because you done work with them enough, you know better. You know when to get down to sit down and be quiet and don't say nothing. I have challenges getting in touch with my emotions. When I talk with my ancestors, I can talk a matter of fact, but I don't get emotional. I've had people, especially a lot of men, they say they love talking to their ancestors because they feel better. That's why I tell these people, you better be talking to your ancestors like they your friends and all that stuff. You like to gossip and all that stuff. You better be gossiping with them. You better be telling them what's going on with your life. It's gonna make you feel better. Okay, and then they sometimes they start fixing your life without you telling them stuff because you got a relationship and you start telling them, complaining to them about what's going on with your life. You ain't asked this them to fix it. That's just like telling somebody what you need, but you ain't ask them to buy it for you, but you telling them that you know what you're struggling, whatever, and then they come up with this pretty surprise for you. And you're like, no, I didn't ask you to do it. They was like, no, we knew you needed it. We love you, so we fixed it. We gave it. We bought it for you. That's how the ancestor relationship go. That's how it need to be going. You have to find them fixing stuff, and you know it be them because of the way things unfold. Just like with that realtor, and says he kept on messaging me. And I start getting this, I start getting anxiety to want to go back and forth with him. Esther said, you better not. You better let him sweat. We know what we're doing. You better not even engage with him. Let him sit there for a minute because you got the wheel. And when you open up that message, everything gonna be going your way. He gonna be doing exactly what you told him he better be doing. I said, that's not gonna be true. They've been threatening me and everything else. I said, we know we you standing in power, you standing the right way. Okay. We know we put in you. You a warrior. You're a truth teller. And you ain't gonna back down because we didn't put that in you. Honey, I woke up this morning and that man was saying, well, yeah, you can do it that way. And ancestor saying, we know damn well she can do it that way. Because we didn't raise no pushovers. And she's not taking that. Okay. And so you'll see it for yourself. Now, did it look like that on the outside? No, because some people was pushing back and, you know, giving me alternatives that was steady, that was invasive on me. And I was just like, this is not the solution. You know, uh, it didn't look that way. I didn't think I was going to win that litigation. And when I woke up today, I won. I won. I'm baffled. So you will see them do things like that, and the impossible becomes possible. That's the only way I can say. If you don't believe that the impossible is possible, you ain't gonna see it till you work with your elevated ancestors, and you see how much they love you. They will kick down doors and push down stuff. uh if you in good standing with them, they gonna work with you. And it may not look like it on the outside. People may be doing telling lies and blowing smoke and all that stuff. And at the last end of it, it's gonna, they're gonna get it resolved. No matter what you see on the outside, I've seen it every time. It may look hopeless on the outside. And the ancestors keep telling you that's not what it is, baby. Move. Make that move. And I'm gonna show you. And when you make that move, you be like, oh my God, this is really happening. They said, we told you. All you had to do is walk out on faith. It was gonna come out the way we told you. Okay. And so you have to build that trust with them. And the more you build that trust for them, the deeper your relationship gets, the more trust you have, uh, in each other, the more faith you have in each other, and the more spirit shows up in your life. And who knows, they might introduce you to work with other spirits. Other spirits will want to work with you because they admire your relationship and dedication you have with your ancestors. And you might have, other spirits rolling up on you, wanting to work with you. That happens too. Okay. And we want as many, well, I won't say as many. We do want these unique, special relationships with spirits to keep our petitions clear, to help our life stay clear, to, remove our obstacles, anything that would bring contrast and hinder our life. That's going to be the more important thing, not a spell. You better be getting right with these spirits because they keep your prayers clear. They make sure that it gets the right results. Sometimes I'm not doing no spell. I'm going right over there telling them ancestors about stuff that's going on with me and they fix it. So I don't care how many spells you got or how many spells. You don't know this yet, then none of your stuff gonna work. I'm gonna tell you the truth. It don't do me no good. I come up here and show you no spell. It doesn't. You have no spiritual friends. We don't know if that work is gonna be clear. We don't know how much gunk you got on you if you even healed enough to do this work. We don't know. We ain't did no divination on it to see the work is gonna be clear. None of that. So why would I show you that? We don't know if your ancestors even want you to do that, if that's even the problem. So why do it? There's so many variables to that. That's why I don't see why people come here and show you stuff. If they're not showing you, bringing this clarity to you, like this, then you should question that. Okay? You should always You should always seek and establish goals that are not only likely achievable, but can also lead to other possibilities. Have your goals in line, your visions. Okay. That helps you gain even greater potential for advancement. They can start opening up opportunities for you, getting you in contact with people that makes your goals, meet your goals a lot smoother, but they need to be there. You may think you have a long way to get there or it's going to be complicated, but I assure you that the ancestors and your spirit guides and the Most High can make provisions in your life, uh, that makes the impossible possible. Okay. Sometimes you can't even imagine when you do some work, how it's going to turn out. And the ancestors, spirit did it because of all the provisions that were done in that, the unfolding of it. And you have to see it to believe it. Okay. I had one practitioner in there. She said somebody was getting ready to turn off her water, and it looked like they were going to turn it off. Looked like they were going to turn off the water, and she didn't know what to do. So she went to her ancestor altar because she's in the community. She was in the community, and that's what I teach you. Go to the ancestor altar. You can't do nothing else. Go to the ancestor altar and start talking. And so she went to the ancestors altar, and she said, well, ancestors, they out here turning off my water. Is they gonna turn off my water? Ancestors, she did a pendulum reading, and the ancestor said no. She said, so they're not gonna turn off the water? No. And she said she got an urge to go out there and talk to the water people. And so she went out there and talked to them. They said, man, we wouldn't be here if you make a phone call right now to the water company. We would leave right now. She said she got on the phone right there in front of the water man and called the water company. And as she was talking to the water company, the people packed up their stuff and left, and they did not turn off her water. But to her, It looked like they was gonna turn off the water, but the ancestors, see, she didn't know that. She didn't know that till they gave her urge to go out there and talk to them. And wouldn't you know, the ancestors is right. This is what happens. This is what happens when you do the work. Especially me, because that I got to get you used to talking to your ancestors just like you talking to me. You got to get used to it because they're living. They might not can see them that there are living beings that are living there with you on that altar. You have a relationship with them. They are investment in your well being because you are the one who is raising the frequency of the bloodline and the lineage. Okay, you are feeding the bloodline. You have a relationship with them. You are nourishing the bloodline. So yeah, they have an investment in you. So they're gonna make sure they're there for you. I got to get you to understand that. I don't do no fake stuff. I'm gonna seek my ancestors on you. I only use my ancestors for hicks and no. We look at real relationship with ancestors. We don't do any fluff over here, and I'm not gonna give it to you that way. And I'm not going to have you working with family members. I'm going to have you working with elevated ancestors. It doesn't matter if you don't know them. It does not matter. They know you. A lot of their names was lost in time. You'll probably never know their name. They'll probably come to you in dreams and visions and things like that and show themselves to you. Some of them might even give you a name. However, that doesn't even matter. What matters is the relationship and the support you give each other. Don't miss the bigger picture trying to overthink this because black people is the only one that overthink this. You don't even know them people in the Bible. But you ain't even know kin. We don't even know when it's any kin to them people, but you follow them people. I mean, I just when you get your mind right, you're gonna be wondering why you did a lot of crazy stuff, why you believed a lot of crazy stuff once you break down these false belief systems and limiting beliefs. You're gonna be looking at yourself and be like, wow, I was really believe that crazy stuff. Can't believe how crazy I was to believe that. You got some work to do. And a lot of people they can let fear keep them back from even diving into their practice because they're so wrapped up in the religious dogma. They're so fearful. Then a lot of people push a lot of spookism and doing a lot of crazy stuff with this. They're so afraid to approach it that they never get anything done. They just ask a lot of questions and nothing gets done. Well, there's no sense in you jumping over here if you're fearful. If you're not willing to do the work to unpack all this stuff, just stay where you are because you're just going to hinder yourself and mess yourself up. Instead of trying to find reasons why you shouldn't be doing it and what's going to happen and all that stuff, if you're not ready to do the shift and do the healing and tear that stuff down, then I don't recommend you come over here, especially with me, because I am going to highly emphasize and encourage you to get somewhere and sit down and renew your mind and do the work. This is not like church. I'm not going to be standing up preaching and you or hollering at you. The only time you're going to really hear me talking is when I come here or you see me in a meeting because I know you know what you need to do. So ain't no sense in me hollering and screaming and preaching and stuff all the time like that to you when you have plenty of resources that is telling you over and over and over, reminding you about the work that you need to do to be successful in your practice. So you can't get it wrong. Hey, how you doing, Javon? Okay. So, it's just that simple with me. You don't get no past me. You probably gonna say, Miss Penny, you mean, no, I'm not mean. I'm being firm with you. I want you to get results. I'm doing this because I want you to see results. I want you to be successful in your practice. Okay, that's why I'm doing. I'm not being mean. No one has, not many people is a coming here like this because they're so interested in doing a snatch and grab for you, getting your money, making you feel good, emotionally manipulating you, and then after they emotionally manipulate you, then you come to me and you wonder what happened because you let them emotionally manipulate you, tell you things you want to hear. You let them steal your energy, and now you surprised when you ain't got nothing because that's what you want. You wanted fluff, and I'm not going to give you fluff. Your ancestors are not going to give you fluff either. This is the same way they're going to come to you. They love you, but they if they want well, they want better for you. Okay? They want to see, they want to see you do well. So they're going to be this way with you. You don't want discipline, you don't want structure, any of that. This probably is not going to work for you or any spiritual practice for that matter. Stop practicing spirituality if you ain't got no structure or nothing else. Don't do it. Okay? Because it's going to come with structure. I don't care what you seen people see people doing. When you read and find out for yourself the structure and mastery you're going to have, you don't have time to be fooling around with folks. You be too focused on your stuff. And the more you stay focused on your stuff and what you have to do, the better things are going to be. Not listening to me, not video binging, not listening to what worked for that. That worked for that practitioner. That's their own stuff. You need to get your stuff. How do your stuff work? How do your magic work? How do your mind work? You know how everybody else stuff work. You admiring everybody else stuff that you leave your own stuff on the table. Some of us are doing that. Got to get you out that mindset. This is a epidemic of this mindset. Okay, so always look at your goals. Look at what you're doing. Never be too desperate to too tied to one outcome or too inflexible because you may be have to do some work. Okay, it's some people too tied to an outcome or too tied to how it's going to unfold that they mess themselves up, or they want to do it one way and they think nothing is going to be required of them to do the work. You going to have to be detached, use detachment when it comes to this work. You're going to have to be open and willing when it comes to this work. If you're not open and willing to do things, then spirit, you're going to be limited to what these spirits can help you with. A lot of them. If you're not willing and do something, and people want to be able to come to these spirits and just extract. You're not gonna do that over here. If you think you're gonna do that and not do no work, then you're not gonna get nowhere. I can tell you that now. I can assure you of that. What a human, divine, spiritual blessing to hear from you, a spiritual human being teacher. Your soul is blessed. Thank you, Miss Penny. You're welcome, Lamar. Okay, so you have to do the work. I don't care what they're telling you. This ain't no church. There ain't no pretending, backbiting, gossiping, and all that stuff. These spirits is watching you. I can't emphasize that enough because there's too many sneaky people. I mean, I just seen a person sit up and get a read with me, try to manipulate me, deny the reading while doing what the reading was saying that she do. I mean, it tripped me out. And I had to call her out on it. I don't think, and the spirit already told me she doesn't like that. She's going to run from that. We want her to do the right things and all that. And we're happy that she's here. We're very happy that she took the step to be here. And we do see that she has the possibility to change. But she's going to run from that. And that's exactly what she did. You know, even with calling her out, like, you want me to. I'm not going to change. I'm not going to tell you nothing what I want to hear. If them cards say that, if the ancestors are telling me that, that's what I'm going to say. So, and it's not my job. My job is to help you get out of denial, to get in alignment so you can really experience a good quality of life and have a deeper relationship with your ancestors. That's my job. If I come to telling you fluff and lying to you, that's not helping you. But some people like lies, beautiful lies. Okay? It's beautiful lies. I mean, and it's happened in my life too, Lamar. That's why I can come here and speak from experience. I've lived it. I'm living it right now. I can stand on it because I live this. This is not no pretty, fluffy stuff. It's not. Some of it ain't pretty. And you're going to have faith and do a lot of things scared. I'm not going to say you're not going to be scared sometimes because you're trying to follow something that you don't see. But as you go on, you'll gain more certainty in your practice. and you just fall in love with hoodoo even more because of it. You're gonna be doing some things afraid. Okay, you're gonna have to be building your faith. That faith muscle is gonna get stronger and stronger, but it's never gonna happen if you don't start healing on you, working on you. When you start to see the transformations in yourself, you're gonna have more confidence in your work. Because if it works on you and you've done the work to fix yourself, you definitely can start shifting your outer reality. You definitely can start talking to spirit. Okay, I hope I haven't lost anyone. Because this is the learning environment that we have over there in Spiritual Roots Hoodoo Community. I want you to get results, results, results. I want you to see your ancestors. My main thing, really, because I know if I get you in contact with ancestors, I know everything else is going to. If you're healing and you're doing the ancestor veneration and cleansing, I know everything else going to fall into place. You're going to start picking up things very quickly. You're going to probably be schooling me and telling me stuff that spirits told you. That's usually what's gonna happen when you start doing it. You're gonna start having all these little downloads and interaction with spirits. You're gonna be wanting to share them in the chat. You're gonna be sharing them a lot when you start doing that. It's gonna start knocking your socks off. And I love to hear it. The link the link is in my bio here on YouTube, and it's in my bio on TikTok. So you just click the link in the bio here on the channel and here on YouTube and here on TikTok. And it take you directly to Patreon. And that's what I'm gonna do. And I have the meetings for you once a month because it's no reason for it. I mean the quality. I know what I provide and I'm not bragging. I'm not because I love what I do and I love being able to offer my time, to offer you value, uh, and hold space for you and support you on your journey. We even have monthly meetings where Zoom meetings where you can come there and ask questions. I'll even do a screen share where I pick up the book and we'll go through the book and we'll have open discussions. I don't care because I want you to get it. I'm not just throwing this at you and saying, do it yourself. I'm saying, okay, you're doing it, but where are you hung up at? Where do you want me to talk about it more? What is it that you want to share about it? Something that you learn or something, you're in question about? I'm willing to do that with not many practitioners is doing that with you. I would question that too, because a lot of them don't want you reading. They don't want you understanding this information because they can continue with their shenanigans. The more power you have, the less shenanigans they can have with you. You'll be able to see right through the facade that they're hiding behind. A lot of them hiding behind the facade. There's so many of them, and you don't even know it because some of you love fluff. The most popular ones is, yeah, and you don't even know it. I be right there looking at some of them do it when you have no idea what's going on. You don't know what you're looking at or what you're hearing. You're looking at aesthetics and a pretty little face. A influencer. That's what you're looking at a lot of the times. Okay. And that I'm doing and that this takes a lot of courage because I didn't want to bring it to them like this. I did not want to come here and mentor like this. But that says that you have to be truthful. You have to tell the truth. Not everybody's gonna like you. You're not supposed to be for everybody. It's about telling the truth. And the people that want to hear the truth and they know it when they hear it, they will be attractive to doing the work. They'll be attracted to, don't you worry about that. That's not why we're doing this. We're doing it to be truthful and reach people that really do want a relationship with their ancestors and really do want to adopt the practice in their daily life. That's why you're doing it. You stay focused on that. Don't worry, that's not gonna get in your way. That this is being misinformed. Your job is to bring inform properly and to do it with integrity and a passion. That's it. Okay. I just joined the community this week. So much knowledge shared. Thank you, Miss Penny. I'm looking forward to the monthly meeting. Yep, and we have one Sunday, so come in there. And then I record them. If you can't make it to our monthly meeting, then Remind me too, y'all, if y'all already in our community, when you get over there, make sure that you say, Miss Penny, are you recording the meeting? Remind me. Because I didn't record the last meeting. So, remind me that ask me if I'm recording that meeting so I can remember to record it. But I try to record the meeting and so you can go back over it and review everything that was said in the meeting. Maybe somebody said something or brought up a topic that you wanted to know about and we talked it in the meeting. Or maybe we have this intense, discussion going on and you find it very interesting. You gain some insight behind it. But I try to record the meetings as well. Okay. If there's a specific topic that you want me to go over in there, bring it up in the meeting. It's just no reason why you wouldn't make progress over there. If you're not making progress over there, I'm sitting with it because when I created that community, I made sure the ancestors just had me. It was an information overload for the things they wanted over there in their community. And so I covered everything over there. So if it's something that I did miss, or if it's something that you wanted me to go over again, I will. If it's something that you're looking for over there, it's probably there because I'm telling you, I try to leave no stone unturned. Let me know, and then I can drop you the information. Okay, but we covered a lot of stuff over there in that community. I'm telling you, I leave no stone unturned, and I leave it open for you to grow your practice. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And over here, you're going to see many rituals over here. Some rituals you'll resonate with, and some rituals you'll look at, and your ancestors, you might get this feeling, or your ancestors might speak to you and say, hey, we like this ritual, but we want you to tweak it this way. You might personalize it for yourself, and that's fine. That's why you'll see everybody hoodoo do not look the same. Don't want your hoodoo to look like my hoodoo. I don't want my hoodoo. That's how you know it works. Okay. It's your signature, it's your vibrations, your ancestors, it's personalized to you, it's work for you. That's why I don't appreciate people come showing you spells because those are personalized. Especially if you're working with your ancestors or you working with a particular spirit or whatever. Most of them are personalized. And you're gonna personalize yours too. I don't recommend that you do a spirit exactly the same. Your ancestors may want you to switch some things up on that. But it's a good idea for you to look at these spells so you'll understand how to put your rituals and spells and things together. Okay, but the basic thing you're going to be learning how to do petitions, how to do declarations, how to do decrees, how to set up altars. You're going to learn all of that. You need to learn that. You're going to learn about the spiritual science, why you using your mouth, why you saying the Bible verse, why you working with fire, why you working with water, why you working with air. You're going to understand all that. You know, since you picking this up and you don't understand what these elements do and how they're helping you and what relationship you need to develop with them. Okay? I hope this making sense for you. So again, you should always establish a goal with this. Always try to know your life where it's leading you and always plan for unseeable and the unexpected. You'll see people on these jobs where you're going into a regular job, you need to already start sweetening them people up. Already go ahead and put them in the sweetening jar. If you know them people regularly, go ahead and start sweetening them up so you don't have no problems with them. Okay? So you always be doing some type of spiritual maintenance. You know that you going to this crazy place where it's gonna be crazy energy. Well, already have in your mind when you leave there, you're gonna have to do a spiritual bath for 3 days in a row. If this don't work, say that you're doing a road opener and it don't work. If the road opener don't work, what you gonna do? You should have something in line. For me, if a road opener don't work, I know I need to go back and do a blockbuster. I'm gonna have to do a 3 or 4 or 5 day cleansing to get something done. Okay. I'm gonna have to address these situations before I can go and do a road opener. Or if I can't do it this way, I'm going to try to look for another spirit that can help me do the work. You're going to have to think like this. Okay, when you start doing work, when you got a spiritual lifestyle, who can help you? It's just like some people, they can't do a money spell. What they go do? They go talk to Saint Expedite. I can't. I ain't got the energy that. Let me see if it's Saint Expedite to help me, cause I know he gonna help me. They'll just go work with a saint or work with an angel or work with their ancestors. So these are the things you should have a protocol before for. Okay, that's why it's hoodoo. But yes, facts. Spirit will let you know. Okay, so there needs to be a plan with your life, uh, and knowing how to address certain situations in there. That's why I am educating. When I get done with you, the things that you have over there, you're going to be advanced practitioners. Some people are not going to even know the things that you know. Okay, you're going to be advanced. If you do the work, you're going to be advanced. Ain't People are not going to be able to run game on you because you're going to be exposed to so much knowledge and resources and know what you're doing, that it's going to be hard for people to play with you with this, especially if you're doing the work. I put no time on it, but it's usually 8 p.m. Central Standard Time for the meetings. And you choose the day. I do a poll on the different days you choose to do the meetings. So I allow the members to choose the best day, but they're usually at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And the meeting can be as long, I'm going to be there. I try not to be there uh more than 2 hours, and 3 hours is my limit. It depends on what y'all got going on and what you need me to talk about. But my limit is, really is about at 2 hours, depending on what y'all have going on. But no longer than three. So, but depends on what you have going on and what we're discussing on there. And the time goes by fast over there because a lot of us get passionate about these topics, and we just be talking and conversating and talking about our experiences. But yeah, okay. So always know you need to be in tune with your life, not Sally Sue life, not Bob life. You need to worry about your life. Stop worrying about everybody else and focus on you. The more you focus on you and what you're supposed to be doing, the better it's going to be, because you wasting a lot of energy being focused on the wrong thing. And we got to get your mind focused on the positivity and focused on you. Because the more you can focus on you, the better you can create the changes you want to see in your life. And see, right now, life is just happening to you because you're not cultivating being intentional about your life. When you cultivate being intentional about your life, then spirit can help you more and heal your life. But if you're not doing anything, you just let life happen to you, well, it's just gonna keep happening to you. And then we'll talk about why this happened to me. Why wouldn't it happen to you? Let's talk about why you think it wouldn't happen to you. I just tell the ancestors that all the time. Why did it happen to me? Why? Why me? Ancestor, why not you? What made you think it wouldn't happen to you? Let's talk about that. What did you learn from it? Let's try to extract something we learned behind it. So I quickly stopped saying that. Why wouldn't me? Okay. He got me out of victim mode too. Evidently, this is a test. Evidently, I am built for this. Evidently, I can address this, and I am, because I'm going straight over to the ancestors and I'm going to ask them for some help. Okay. Hey, this is the time to be building my faith. This is why I got into this. If I'm going to see if it's going to work, I better be using it right now. Okay. It's going to build your faith, because this is what you're going to be reaching for to fix your life. If you for real. If you really trying to change, if you trying to use spiritual solution to your everyday problems, you're going to be reaching for hoodoo. Okay. A close relationship with your ancestors and other spirits will ensure success in your work. That's simple. That's how this works. For the hardest and largest tasks to the most minor and insignificant, all things are accomplished in stages. receive and achieve our end in stages. So all goals should be achievable in their time and place. There's a season for everything. That's why I tell you to take your time with this. Do the healing work. And believe me, once you start doing this, you're gonna know whether or not you want to, how you want to proceed in your practice when you feel stronger and gain more personal power. You're gonna be telling me what you want to do because you've had time to sit to know yourself, uh, to know your dislikes, your likes, you had to sort of look at your passions, your interests, your hobbies, and you're gonna know if you're doing the work. You're gonna know, okay? You'll know the work that you will have to do and how you need to break it down. Okay, there is no, I had somebody that tried to do set lights for them, but under this petition was a whole bunch of stuff. And I was like, this is not gonna work because it needs to be more focused. It's everywhere, this petition. And so when I set the light on it, that candle burned slow too because of all the stuff they were in. And some in it, not to say it wasn't gonna happen, but it burned slow. And that was a very indication that that person needed to break this down in different workings to see better results in it manifesting. Okay. We even break down candle work too. So you'll know how to read your candle, look at what it's doing, what candles to use. For those of you who are interested in candle work, we break down container magic, whether you're working with jars or any type of container, we break that down. Break down, we just address it all. We leave no stone unturned there. And I can't wait next month because we got another juicy resource. And I've been wanting to put that in our community for so long, but I had a hard time of finding a digital book on it. And I was finally able to find a digital book on it because I'm trying to uh, put in more resources on hoodoo saints because it seems to be sporadic. Now we know about the Catholic saints, but hoodoo have their own saints as well. You'll see that with voodoo as well. That's why you'll see hoodoo and voodoo. I, I don't even know why people keep saying this. In no way you're gonna run into voodoo when you run into hoodoo. It ain't no way around it. That's why I don't see why voodoo people, people that's initiated want to keep fighting about this initiation. I don't know what that's religious. That's the ancestor said, girl, that's religious. That don't have nothing to do with you. You know what it is. But you gonna run into those voodoo deities in hoodoo. Cause some hoodoo saints, some of them are in voodoo. So you gonna see it. Okay. I don't care what these people's talking to you. You have to sit you down and then I have to ask these people that's saying that, are y'all even educating yourself outside of your religion? Because when I see them saying that, I said they cannot be educating themselves out of their religion. We're talking about spirits here. We're not talking about your religion. We're not talking about, especially when it comes to African diaspora spiritual practices, religion. If you are of the African diaspora spiritual practices, I firmly believe that, you know, the restriction of religions do not apply to us. I don't know what you're talking about because we have this ancestral DNA in our bloodline. And our ancestors, they were synchronized. They have been known to synchronize religions, synchronize these spiritual practices in religions to have access to these deities. You see that in voodoo and Catholicism. You see that with the Orishas in Catholicism. They start synchronizing these deities to these saints. So I don't know what you're talking about. So I got to think that you are not, maybe you've been in that religion too long, and you done forgot that. I don't know what you're doing. But y'all need to have that another conversation about that. Because here we are, we have ancestors that got us working with different loas, some of us. And in rare occasions, they will have you working, in order to understand the spirits in hoodoo, you have to look at voodoo. There's no way around you to understand that we're using a Congo cosmograph in there. So there is the cosmograph, the cosmology is in our spiritual practices. So why wouldn't we? And this is the same cosmology that is used in a lot of ATRs. So why wouldn't we be using that spiritual system? They come through that spiritual system when we start to do our ancestor veneration and we start to dive into hoodoo. Because after all, hoodoo have those elements in it. So and you'll see that for yourself. A lot of people don't have this since they're talking about their religion. I'm not talking about your religion. I'm talking about the ancestors, and they front and center in all of them. So I don't know what you're talking about. So you can go ahead and clap your hands to the religion, the same thing that messed up your ancestors. You can keep that going on, or we're gonna talk about these ancestors. I'm not talking about your religion. I have to tell people that because they get so stuck in their religion. Uh, you done forgot who made the religion. I mean, make it make sense to me. So why wouldn't the ancestors teach me how to do voodoo? Why wouldn't they teach me how to work with these different spirits there? Why wouldn't they do that? Because I do got that blood running through my veins. So why wouldn't they teach me? Tell me why they wouldn't teach me. If I'm following elevated ancestors, why wouldn't they teach me? And when you can tell me that, then I believe your religion, what you say, your little religion, your protocol, your politics in your religion. Because that's all it is. You're politicking with that. The ancestors not religious. Okay? Y'all made that to protect your spiritual practices from the colonizer. And now some of you thinking like the colonizer. I said again, they can get mad. I don't care. You talk to the ancestors and you see for yourself and you look at those resources. And you're probably going to be coming to this same conclusion that I'm coming to. There was somebody I forgot who she was, but she asked me, she jumped in my box. She said, Miss Penny, is voodoo and hoodoo? I said, baby, we just did a lecture on that. I just showed you that. I just did that. What they just said that it is. So the answer is yes. You're gonna run into it. There's no way around it. I get tired of people saying that, even hoodoo practitioners is gonna be talking about voodoo deities. Black hoodoo authors are gonna be talking about this. So that's why I said don't believe the hype what you see on here. Are these people have they really studied the practice? Because some of the things that come out their mouth, I just be like, that's not true. I don't know where you heard that from or where you came up with that idea, but our spiritual practices, especially people of African diaspora, it's more complex than that. And so you can't be telling us we ain't initiated. I don't know what's the matter with you because we following ancestors over here. Now, just because you chose to make a pact and you want to be in a religion, that's your choice. That doesn't mean that we're supposed to do that too. You chose to do that. You wanted an organization, so that's what you got. Okay, so don't fall for the hype, but you'll see it for yourself once you start doing the study. There's no limit to hoodoo, and you know the ancestors can teach you anything they want to. There is no limit with them. So don't you think that they can't teach you anything that you want to know. You can grow as advanced as you want to with this if you put in the work. They will advance you. They will teach you anything that you want to know. If you're sincere and you really want to know, they'll teach you. There's no limits to this. That's what I love about hoodoo. I don't care what you're hearing out here. And then a lot of people will accuse us for what they say we be doing. We be appropriating and messing up their religion. Ain't nobody messing up your religion. You think hoodoo is a religion. And so you think we're messing up stuff. No, we're not. We're following our ancestors, and our ancestors are showing us how to approach the deities in these religions. And it's working just fine. No, we're not messing. We know exactly what we're doing over here in hoodoo. So stop, you know, coming at hoodoo practitioners because you don't know what hoodoo is. This is an ancestral magic. It is a bloodline. It is not a religion. And so you think it's a religion, and it's not. We can practice a variety of spiritual systems and still be practicing hoodoo very successfully. And y'all don't like that because you think it's mixing. But no, we're more advanced because our ancestors are teaching us how to work with these different spirits and spiritual systems and different frequency and vibrations in some of these spiritual systems for our growth and development. I would say we were more advanced because we know how to approach a variety of different religions and spiritual systems and work successfully with the variety of spirits. So no, we're not mixing anything. The ancestors is growing and developing us. I have to explain that to them because they look down at hoodoo, say it's a survival religion. No, it's a liberated, it's a freedom and liberation spiritual practice. Tell me it's a survival magic. I don't like when they call it that because you try to make it seem like it's less than. No, it's not. Hoodoo saved our whole life. It saved our whole culture. It saved America. What are you talking about? So don't try to look down on it like it's like your religion is better than hoodoo, because it ain't. Because I can practice your religion and still practice hoodoo. Can you still practice your religion and do hoodoo? Because y'all, once they get in their religion, they frown up on them, you know, some of them frown up on them adopting a other practice sometimes. Not all the time, but you see some of them do that. And some of them tell you you can't practice hoodoo while practice their religion. And some of them, and I think that's fake too. They'll tell you they don't want you to honor your ancestors. They'll do it for you. That's a red flag. If you go up into an ATR and they initiated you and they are not talking about ancestor veneration is not front and center. The Egungun, the Getty, none of them are front and center. That's a red flag. You need to know that. Stop falling for the flood. You ain't don't be talking to no Orisha, don't be talking to no Loa, don't be doing none of that if your ancestor veneration is not together. Why would you want to do that? And nothing, no spirit or nothing else, once you see what your ancestors can do, because y'all like putting the more powerful spirits. You better know if you're looking for a powerful spirit to work for you, better be ready to do that work. Because you don't come into contact, these spirits is not gonna give you power without doing no work. Oh, you gonna be fasting somewhere praying. You talking about I want to work with the most powerful spirit. Well, you're gonna be giving a lot of commitment and devotion. You want to be a powerful spirit, but you ain't ready to do no powerful work. You better be knowing what you asking for. Even when you work with the Orisha, it ain't gonna work if you can't embody Ogun energy. You ain't about that warrior life. You ain't about standing tall and speaking up for yourself. Then you are not gonna be successfully to work with them. If you want to work with Oshun and you seeking uh validation, you a love addict, you do anything for somebody to love you, you don't love yourself, you always looking for, then you ain't embodying Oshun. I don't know what you embodying, because she ain't about that. She's about self-love. She's about putting herself first. She is about self-care. She is about sensuality. She is about femininity. So if you ain't buying that, you don't know what you're doing. You're not gonna be able to really embody these energies if you have not cleaned out a lot of stuff in you. You're gonna be limited in the way you can work with them. I don't care what you're doing, because remember, these spirits possess us too. That's why people go under possession there. They possess you too. They're living inside of you. And the more in alignment that you get in with them, the better your life can be. But if you don't get in alignment with them, then it's going to wreak havoc on your life. You better know what you're doing. Okay? That's why I say you need to stick over here with these ancestors first. Get that together first before you start thinking you can work with the big dogs. You a big dog and all that, for you going to get yourself messed up. Okay, I know what I'm talking about. I don't care what everybody else is doing. Just because everybody doing and saying the same thing, don't make it right. That man over there walking around with a diaper and all that kind of stuff, does that make it right? I had to tell my children that sometimes. Well, my friend do it and they do it. I don't care what them people do at their house. And just because everybody doing it, don't make it right. So we don't do that here. Now, when you grow up and you're an adult, you can do that on your own. But in my house, what we're doing, we're not doing that. Okay, just because everybody doing don't make it right. You got a whole bunch of people don't like people because of color of their skin. Does that make that right? Because it's a lot of people doing it. Does that make it right? You better start thinking for yourself. You're gonna have to stop being a conformist thinker if you're gonna be doing this right here, because you got to change the way you think, the way they done programmed us with raggedy stuff. Yeah, because before I even started figuring out which spiritual practice to fully devote to, I remember I was with the Hindu meditation workshop, like something was guiding me there in high school. A lot of hoodoo practitioners go into Hinduism. And guess what? We just went through this in our community. Hinduism, boy, you got to see it for yourself. Trip me out when I say it. Hinduism looks like voodoo. I believe that our ancestors started doing some synchronization with that, because you had a lot of our ancestors adopting that spiritual practice. It looks a lot like voodoo. And you've heard some voodoo practitioners. I think we got two or three books in there where there's where voodoo practitioners talk about the similarities between Hinduism and voodoo. The similarities are so striking. They believe in possession and all that stuff too. They do the same thing. It'll trip you out when you see it. And in fact, if you look at Hinduism closer in some of the ATRs, you'll see some of the Hindu deities in voodoo and in the Orisha. Yeah. Tripped me out when I said, why is this here? It tripped me out when I seen it. But yeah, in some of the Orisha, is it Kali or it's not Ganesh. It's either Kali, uh, it's not Buddha. I think of it in a minute. Shiva. I think it's Shiva. But yeah, they've made it in the Orisha Pantheon and in the Voodoo Pantheon. You'll see some of the Hindu deities in the Orisha Pantheon and in the Voodoo Pantheon. You will see them in there. Trip me out when I seen it. Trip me out when I seen it, but you'll see them there. And Buddhism, I think that encompasses some of the Eastern religion, but I've seen that there too. The ancestors would, if they think that a religion will grow you and it'll help your self development, they will help you learn it and master it and get some of the spiritual development with you. They think it's going to change you, it's going to help you, then they'll guide you to practice a certain religion if it's something that you need further development in. I had some people, they didn't want to practice hoodoo because they didn't like the way it looked. And their ancestors led them right over to Hinduism. And they was doing the same thing. You still doing a puja, it's an altar. You still gonna have to did up a puja to that deity. You still gonna have to do the same thing. But they felt uncomfortable with hoodoo, and so their ancestors took them right over there to Hinduism, and they doing just fine. So sometimes your ancestors do that. If you get too squeamish about something or whatever, and you really trying to do some spiritual development, and they're really trying to help you, they'll lead you to a certain, uh, religion to help you get comfortable with your spiritual development. Sometimes that happens, you guys. I just don't know, depends on your mindset and how your ancestors are guiding you to do your work. And that's something you're going to develop on your own and something I highly encourage and get you to trust. That's what the mentorship is for. Because more than anything, I am encouraging you to change your thinking and to believe in yourself. That's where a lot of this stuff gonna come in at, because you're gonna need Miss Penny to stand there with you and hold your hand and let you know that you can do this, and then show you all the progress that you have made, so you can understand why you can do this. Because I have to point out all the things you have done about you to this point, so you can understand why you can do this. I have to hold your hand while I tell you this. Some that be going, and it's a lot of you know the answers, but you just need a little support. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I wish someone was there, physically there when I was going through this and assist me through it and sit me down and have a conversation with me. Okay. And I tried to be that to you. All right. So again, having your goals, accomplishments. That means you really it's important to know yourself. That means to really know who you are, what you are capable of accomplishing, and most importantly, what you really want and how badly you want it. How really, because these spirits gonna look at you. They'll see, okay, she really wants this. She's really determined about this. They're really, when they see that, they offer more assistance, and you find yourself meeting goals and stuff a lot faster when they see you're willing. They love that. They love when you're willing. They love when you're sincere. They love that. The more sincere you be, the more willing you are, the better it's going to be. If you will come over here with the ego and you think they're gonna do something for you and you ain't gonna do nothing, well, good luck with that. Good luck if you come over here with some entitlement. I don't know how far you're gonna get with that. Okay, I'm gonna keep it real with you. So you come over here with that, I don't know how far you're gonna get with that. Okay, you must be able to realize when opportunities arise and then strategically take advantage of them. Okay. So again, you're going to be taking really good care of yourself. You're going to be looking at issues from an optimistic perspective. Now when I see problems arise now, I used to be upset and be like, why this happened to me? Now I'm more like, yeah, because I get a chance to test out my faith. Yeah, let me go over here and go talk to Archangel Michael about this. I'm gonna really see if this really works. Now I got the opportunity to build up our relation because I'm finna go tell them what's going on. And I'm really just the time I build my faith because I've been doing so much rituals. I've been doing so much of this. Now I'm gonna see if it works. I look at that totally different. It's the opportunity for me to learn and see how much I have learned and see how I can get this to move just by changing my thinking and going over here talking to my ancestors, my spirit guys, letting them know what happened. Let's see how my work gonna move. Okay, and that's how we need to be. And you're gonna, again, the more you do this, the more faith you have, the stronger you're gonna become. You're gonna be looking at challenges totally different. You're gonna be going straight there to that altar. You ain't gonna be getting mad and emotional. And it has regulated a lot of my emotions. I don't get, I feel when I get angry, I know there's a boundary that needs to be crossed, that has been crossed. And then I look at what has happened. And then I look at the power that I do have in the situation. Now, if I know that I'm limited in the power that I do have in the situation, then I know it's spiritual. Then I need to go to my ancestor and I need to tell them what's going on and let them know, look, I will fix it, but this is where I can't fix it and I have to come to you. So if you can tell me how to fix it or help me with it, I would greatly appreciate it. You know. So I do sit with it. We don't just go off and start doing stuff and not, be aware. So be aware of what you're doing. And when you know you can't fix it, then yeah, you're gonna have to go talk to a spirit. And that is a wonderful thing because you'll start seeing them move stuff for you. But be for real. Don't do no faking and jiving with these spirits. Just don't do it. You're gonna get stuck somewhere and you're gonna have to do a lot of cleansing work and a lot of redemption work if you ain't got your stuff together. Okay. The most important consideration, as I have said, is to know yourself, know who you are, what you are capable of, and then establish your goals in an incremental manner. Let one accomplish play into another, break it down into tasks that are simple, manageable. Big changes that benefit you don't usually happen overnight. That's why you have to break this down. That is why I got you doing the healing work. That is why I got you doing the ancestor work and the bathing work. I'm not even talking to you about a spell because this is enough work here. Okay. Believe me, usually when you do this, you get an alignment. You won't have to do too much work. And after you've done this, when you start looking at those spells, they're going to make so much sense and you will learn how to craft and develop your own because you've done the work. Okay. You'll know how to approach it. But if you're asking a lot of questions and stuff in there, and I know that there's answers and all your resources, and I done covered that, and I know the answers are out there, and you're asking me a lot of questions about something that we've covered, that lets me know that you're not studying. And don't expect me to give you the answer. What's going to happen is I'm going to point you to a resource, and then I'm going to ask you to go sit down with your ancestors, uh, and ask them for guidance on what you got going on. Every time, every time. Because so don't think that you're going to get a shortcut with me. And I'm not there to people please you and kiss your butt. That's not what I'm there for. I'm there for you to get results in your practice. So if you think I'm there to kiss your butt and help you feel good and help you get in denial and illusion, that's not what I'm there for. And if that's what you want, you probably don't want to be in our community. I want to see you get results. I want you to be jumping in the chat saying, Miss Penny, look, I read this, I did this, I put this together, and guess what? This worked. I did this, I talked to my ancestors, I've been consistent. That's what I want. That's what your ancestors want. This is how this works. Okay. It ain't gonna help if I'm not, if I'm not being forthcoming to you and I'm people pleasing and all this stuff. That's trauma. I'm not finna do that with you. Now, if you want somebody, you want to repeat trauma with people and all that, then go there, because that's what's gonna happen. And people that's there to make you feel good, they don't want to see you grow and all that. They don't want that for you. Okay, that's really gonna hold you back. It's not gonna help you. And I'm not going to participate in it with you. So if that's what you think that I'm going to do with you, I'm not. I want to see you get results. And so I have to be truthful with you. Okay? Not being mean, not being mean. I want to see you get results. Sometimes I think I want it better than y'all with all the information that I share here. Because even with all the information that I share here, sometimes people act like they still confused, and I'm like, how are you still confused about this? I was absolutely clear here. I mean, I have so many videos here, have stated this over and over again. So if you're confused, that's because you're choosing to be, and you're stalling because you don't want to do the work. And stop using me to stall. Focus on what you need to be doing. And the answer to your questions is in the resources. Stop asking me questions and go to the resources so you can learn this for yourself, or you're going to cross yourself up. Stop asking people stuff. Okay? I know you don't know. That's why the resource there. That's why it's there to educate you. You ain't going to get the answers from other people. You're going to get it by going within and doing your work. That's it. Okay? I have to be like that with you because some people have made this something else and I don't know. All of these considerations are what I call measuring and determining your base, which is yourself in the present time and place. You are the question that must be answered. You are the answer. You are the clue. If something ain't working, it's you. It ain't nobody else. And I love people say, well, I think somebody hexing me. Ain't nobody hexing you. You won't keep your mouth off people. You won't sit down and be quiet. Ain't nobody hexing you. You crossing yourself up. And then I do a reading. That's exactly what's happening there. And then I tell them that I didn't know that they do that. Yeah, they do that. Raggedy behavior mess you up. Raggedy mouth equals mess you up. Raggedy thinking mean mess you up. Don't have time, mess you up. Lack of consistency, mess you up. Lack of studying, mess you up. Yeah. So you be the biggest component. So sometimes I've had people come to me talking about that somebody put a spell on them. Ain't nobody hexing you. You hexing yourself. And they are baffled when I tell them this. You better get in your mind. You're gonna have to do some shifting and changing when you get over here. You cannot be the same raggedy, wounded person and be successful in your practice. You're gonna hit a block. I don't know anybody that's seasoned in this practice that have not had to do any self mastery or healing work. Get that in your mind. Get that in your mind. I don't care how many spells, how many sparkles and glitter they put on them spells. I don't care how pretty it look or whatever. If it ain't got no spiritual power to it, it ain't gonna work. I don't care how pretty you make it. I don't care what people show you, or they shouldn't be showing you that. Because a lot of power, a lot of spells use their power when people start showing their work. And they open themselves to spiritual warfare when they do that. Showing their altar, showing their work and all that. It opens you up to spiritual warfare. Now you got other eyes and minds on that. Because remember, this is consciousness. And they can be wishing for your stuff to fail. That's why you need to keep your mouth closed. Stop showing your stuff. That's your business. But they didn't make this trendy because they think it's cute. They don't take this serious. Because if you do take that serious, where in the world you be showing people your business like that so your work can be under spiritual attack. And it's raggedy people out here. Where in the world you do that. If you really knew what you was doing, where in the world you be showing these people this work like this on this camera. Where in the world you would. Why you doing that? Ain't nobody's business. Okay, you'll protect your work better than that. And that's been a fad here. It's just showing your spells, just showing your work. And some of you guys are looking at work, and practitioners, seasoned practitioners are showing their work, but you don't know what you're looking at. Some of you fascinated about that. Don't be fascinated about that because you don't know what's going on there. They're just showing you some work. They're not telling you what's going on. And some of you are trying to copy it and go do it and don't know what you're doing or why they're doing it. It's gonna mess you up again. Gonna mess you up. Okay. Learn what these altars, learn what these spirits like. Learn how to develop a relationship with these spirits on your own and stop listening to people. Because this reality out here is not real as what you think. It is the spirit that's creating the physical reality. And the more you can go in and acknowledge that, the better results you're going to get. Okay. You are the question that must be answered, and perhaps one of the greatest tools for determining the answer to that question is divination. Divination gonna be your friend. Devin, you're gonna see me point you there all the time. When you start asking me questions, Miss Penny, should I do this bath? I don't know. Did you ask your ancestors? Go do a divination. I'm gonna be pointing you to that all the time. So you're gonna be doing a lot of practice. If you want ancestor communication, you're gonna be practicing with divination all the time. You're gonna be learning how to communicate with them on divination. Did you do a divination? What did they say? What kind of cards that came up? Do you need help determining what they're saying? Do you need me to help you interpret the cards? You're gonna have to know what you is because we're gonna go back to the ancestors, and I'm not gonna override your ancestors. That defeats the purpose of you developing a relationship with them and trusting them. I'm not gonna get in the way of that because you need to get comfortable with communicating with them and trusting your intuition. Stop asking people what your ancestors say. Stop asking them to, well, what kind of people tell me that? Well, what kind of bath you suggest? I don't know. You ain't got no reading with me. What is your ancestors telling you? Stop asking people stuff. You gonna get that's how people get messed up. They don't know you, they don't know your ancestors, they don't know your issue or none of that. And you want them to give you an answer. They get in my inbox with that. And I have to, I got, I got a cute little message I give to them now, a little book of reading, because I'm not giving you no guidance, nothing. That's irresponsible for me to do that. I don't know you. I don't know what's going on with you. I don't know what your ancestors got for you. Just book a reading because I don't want to ill advise you. Okay. And please don't get in the box if you're not ready to book a reading. Don't get in my box asking me questions because I'm not going to answer them. I'm not going to answer anything without a divination. I'm just not going to do it. So just stop. Don't do it. If you're not in our community, I'm not going to answer any questions to you. If you do not book a reading, with me, I'm not gonna be offering guidance until you do it. Okay. And if you ask me something, even if you're in our community and you say, Miss Penny, should I do such and such and such? I don't know. How's your ancestor veneration? Did you do a divination to your ancestors? What did you feel like they were saying? What came up? Because I'm gonna go to that. Okay. Okay. So you got the, you're gonna have to get used to a spirit. It is real. Just because you don't see it don't mean them spirits ain't there. You coming to me because I'm a person. You used to going to a person, but you have to get used to going to a spirit. I got to get you comfortable with that. Okay, you're gonna have to get comfortable with a relationship with spirits. You probably can't see them, but you can feel them. If you're going there often enough, you're gonna feel when they're there. If you're in contact with your thoughts and your intuition, you're gonna know when it's them giving you messages and guidance. You're gonna know. Okay, this is about trusting yourself too, because people done told you that you were not able to talk to God, you ain't able to talk to spirit. I don't know why, because you is a spirit, so why wouldn't you be able to do that? You are a spirit. This body is very temporary. Okay, your spirit is driving around your body. It's just like you in the car driving the car. Okay, your spirit is driving your body around. You are a spirit. Your ego, this body, this physical reality will fool you and make you think you're not, but you're very much that. Your consciousness is in a body. You are a spirit in a body. When you start understanding spiritual sciences, I think it makes it more easier for you to understand this. Okay, so you got to get used to talking to spirit. I know you want, and I think people, I struggle with that too. Me and the ancestors go back and forth. They said, but we here though, so I don't know why you keep struggling with that. We keep showing you that we're here. All this stuff we done fixed in your life and the stuff we did, girl, we here. So you're gonna have to get used to not seeing us, and then you have to get used to too. Yeah, we pour a lot of wisdom and insight into you, but when it come to us, you don't know nothing. So don't think you know more than us because you don't. They told me just like that. So stop telling us what you know when we tell you something what it is. We don't care about, we don't care about what you know. We the reason why you know that. So you think we don't know that? Be quiet and sit down and listen to what we just told you. So you'll get that too from them. So don't get sassy with them and think you know better than them because you don't. Okay? Don't let your ego don't do it because you don't. I had to learn the hard way. Okay, they shut me down real quick and got me together. Okay, you don't want to get them upset because they can block your magic. If you ain't got a right relationship with your ancestors, if you fall out to it with these spirits, they will block your work. Yep, they do have a sense of humor. They do have a sense of humor. So, because stuff that used to make me mad, now I laugh because they have so much wisdom. They see things from a whole nother perspective. So your humor will improve and you'll learn to detach real quick. When they tell you something, you be like, okay, okay. You wouldn't be so upset when they tell you no. And you can even ask them why they say no. Okay, and they'll tell you, you better be ready for the answer though. When they tell you no, you better be ready for the answer. You better be ready for the answer. If they tell you no. Okay. Or they tell you no, you can ask them, well, is there another way? You can be as specific as you want to with this. That you have to be willing to do the work and look at spirit as a person. If you got to imagine, look at it as an imaginary friend, do that. But I talk to them just like I'm talking to y'all. Ain't no sense in shucking and jiving. When just be sincere. I'm tired. Ancestors, I'm tired of doing this. Can you please help me with this and this and that? I'm just trying to fix it. How do I fix it? Be honest, because they want to help you. But if you don't say you won't help and you don't petition for help, you're not going to get it. You're not willing for the help, willing to do what is necessary to get the help, then you're going to be stagnated. But these spirits like sincerity. I don't care how pretty you can, a lot of people are manipulating us with their fancy words and all that. The ancestors, I've been seeing people talking, and then say, "Huh, they talk a good kind. They sure got a fancy mouth, but a funky pair of lips to say anything. They just lying." And I'm looking over there at the ancestors. They said they lying. She said, "Girl, these folks, girl, girl, but they give a wonderful presentation, but be lying. Just like the woman, what's her name? Everybody got her in the thing. The O'Brien lady. The lady supposed to be the counselor, therapist, and she ain't got no degree. And she's standing up here in front of everybody. And people is, people coming for her. Why y'all mad at her? Because all y'all about the story. Why you mad? This is the mental condition of all of y'all. Because again, you always judging a book by its cover. You're always judging a book by its cover. And that's gonna mess you up. You never open up the book, you just look outside of the book. And that's what's getting y'all messed up. I've seen it done to myself. I have walked into the store and have a pocket full of money. I'm not dressed up another because I'm not trying to impress nobody. I ain't got no Chanel bag. I ain't got none of that. But I got a pocket full of money. And just because I look a certain way, people think I'm broke. And then when I pull out all my money and my credit cards, their eyes are wide open. Don't you get this twisted. Even the man that owned Walmart, he drove overalls in an old pickup truck. He didn't flash his money because it wasn't about that. You need to be weary of people that present themselves like that. Don't judge the books by its cover. That's what be getting you messed up. Okay? That's what they have. They're saying beauty is skin deep, but ugly is to the bone. You just have some people, they're so beautiful on the outside, but their spirit is rotten. It's distorted. Okay? It's all messed up. They beautiful on the outside. But when they start talking and you look at their behavior, they are raggedy. So don't you get it twisted. Now they got that woman that what's her name? Shani. I forgot the woman's name. But she all over everywhere. And they said, but she ain't got no a psychological degree and she ain't got this and she fooled the prep. Y'all let her. You let her on a podcast. You let her because you was looking at the exterior. You didn't ask for anything. You was looking at what she was saying, all this fancy stuff. That's what salesmen do. Salesmen have a good pitch. They have a good conversation. That's what's going on with a lot of them. They have a sales pitch. They have a great conversation. They know how to pull their audience in. And so now that they're great at manipulation, now you think they give a good conversation and all that, but they don't embody any of these qualities that they say that we're supposed to have. And people fall for it every time. Preachers do it all the time. That's her name, Cheyenne Bryant. And now mad people mad because she ain't no doctor and she can't produce no thing. All that and all that and all that. Okay, so don't be surprised by you see it all the time. And y'all say you want to be more discerning and all that. You better be reading energy and stop looking at faces. Stop looking at faces. This is what you're gonna have to do. Who watch what they doing and what they saying. Is it lining up? You watch them real close. Is they really bringing some real insightful knowledge to you? Are they really breaking things down to you? Don't be bamboozled by no popularity and stuff. Okay, don't be no conformist. A lot of us are conformists. We do stuff because other people do it. We don't take a moment and say, "Wait a minute, how's this serving me?" Why am I doing this because everybody else doing it? Wait a minute. Why I like raggedy stuff? Why is raggedy stuff attracting me? Why I like them people fighting and beating up on each other all the time? What's the matter with me? Why I got to always have my mouth on somebody? You better start asking yourself the questions. Okay? So start looking at things. And you're certainly gonna learn that. Your ancestors gonna certainly start doing that when they start letting you get lessons. When they done told you something, you do it anyway. Now you gotta sit and raggedy stuff because you didn't listen to your ancestors. This is gonna happen. This is gonna happen. I'm gonna tell you now. And ain't nobody gonna be able to help you but your ancestors. Okay? Perform a divination, establish your ancestor communication. Okay? Get that together first. A practitioner should engage in a great deal of soul searching and divination before doing any work to change the equation of his and her material mundane situation. Talk to your ancestors. I talk to them first. What should I be doing? Should I just be based? Sometimes it may be simple. All this work, this fancy stuff these people have you doing. Sometimes your ancestors just have you just sweeping your floor. Sometimes they'll have you just writing a gratitude list. Sometimes they might have you doing a burning ritual where they want you to release a lot of gunk you have on you and write it down on paper and burn it up. It just all depends. Your stuff gonna look totally different. It's not a one size fit all in hoodoo. I have to get people to see that because everybody trying to make it a one size fit all. No, it's not. Everybody's work is different, but we all agree we got work to do. Okay, you're gonna have work to do. Oh, welcome, Queen Liquid. Okay, you're gonna have work to do. So you're gonna be doing a lot of divination. That's what should be going on. Mastering divination. Uh with communication with your ancestors. A lot of cleansing and bathing ritual and shadow work. Believe me, it's some people do this and never pick up a spell. They just work with their ancestors. They know they got them baths down pat. Some of them got them psalm scriptures down pat. They fight with their mouth, they conjure because they've been talking to their ancestors and they know how to declare and do decrees. They're good with that. Okay. And that's all. And then sometimes you'll have people where they'll work with saints. They have their ancestors, but they're working with saints and they're working with angels. Or you have some that go on to work with, depending on how far and how seasoned they are, they're working with some hoodoo saints in hoodoo. Either way, if you even if you work with Catholic saints, it's going to open you up to work with hoodoo saints because some of them were synchronized with Catholicism. That's why when you go looking at saints and hoodoo stars, some of them start looking like your ancestors. I'd be like, oh my God, what is happening here? Why are they feeling like my ancestors? Why are they looking like my ancestors? Okay. And so they might have you, this all depends, you guys. But you're not gonna know until you do the work. But at first, it's gonna be very, very simple. And just with that, you'll start moving stuff out. It'll probably fix your whole life. Sometimes that be most of the time that be the problem. And the spells ain't doing nothing but hanging you up and they're a temporary fix from the real root work that needs to be done, which is the healing. That's the real root work is the healing. But the spells ain't doing nothing but laying tricks and all that stuff because you're gonna have to if you have not eliminated the problem, it's only so long that trick gonna work. But if you want to see definite change, do the real work, and the change will be again, it will be permanent. Instead of you having it every Friday, whatever, because you mess up your money, you got to go in here and do a money spell, and that spell probably ain't gonna last that long because you won't deal with your relationship with money. So you're gonna keep on doing spells because it's not fixing your relationship with money. And sometimes you'll be restricted at what spirits you can work with until you get your abundance mindset together. Okay. And you're gonna have to do some work here. Forget this fantasy new age, love and light kumbaya stuff. Uh-uh. You got to do some work over here. Okay. And in order to access power, to access your personal power, you're going to feel it because the more you can get control of yourself, calm down your nervous system, and the more you focus on yourself, you're going to feel, yourself getting stronger. Okay. Especially when you start seeing all this positive stuff happen to you. Things just start fixing itself. It's going to happen. That universe has it has no other choice but to respond once you start doing the inner alchemy. The outer has got to change because you change. That is the spiritual law of alchemy. Y'all talking about alchemy, but you do not understand how it works. I'm tired of people saying that too and don't explain what they're doing because ain't no alchemy happening if you ain't changing. Want some change to happen. You want $1 million, but you don't know how to manage $200. How that's gonna work? Okay, how that's gonna work? You don't even know how to manage $200, but you want $1 million. How it's gonna work? You think your ancestors gonna bless you with $1 million and you don't even know how to manage $200? You don't even know how to manage your finances. So how that's gonna work? You got a terrible relationship with money. You better be thinking about that, or think it through. Think it through. Okay. Okay. So you should be again do soul searching. Most importantly, practitioners should already have determined the various steps to take and have the actions required to make this happen. You have some people, they have an abundance altar. They might, depend on what spirit they're working with, because there's a variety of spirits available to help you create more abundance, finances in your life. They might have an abundance altar. Well, they might be working with a spirit to help them create the abundance long term. They might have a goal. They may have several goals on here they want this spirit to help them with on their money altar. Okay, so they've set it down, they broke it down, and now this spirit, you know, they go to their altar to work with money. Now this spirit has helped them reach certain goals to tap into their wealth. And this is ongoing. This might be ongoing for months, weeks, depending on what you got going on. But should be broken down like that. It is work. Okay. However, knowing yourself thoroughly is one of the one of the many ways to addressing how you can achieve the realization of specific desires. Still, you can't change yourself by simply using affirmations, positive thoughts, and nothing else. Attempting to fake it until you make it, it doesn't usually work because often situations are more complex and require a lot more internal work for fully realized success. Now, I have this problem here when people be trying to get people to do Psalms work, and people are coming back and say, hey, it don't work, and you keep telling them, say it over and over, that it's not going to work because they got too many blocks. They don't believe what they're saying. They don't feel what they're saying. If they can't feel what they're saying, then just repeating it is not going to move anything. They have to be able to feel it, because the emotions is the one who what moves the work. It's the fuel that moves the work. So if they can't feel it, and they can't really mean it, and they got these blocks, they don't really mean what they saying, then it's not going to work. That means they got to go back to the drawing board and try to figure out why they don't believe that, why they can't feel what they're saying is true. They're going to be blocked, so it's going to take more than that. So I don't care how many affirmations these people tell you to say every day. If there is no healing work to actually help you believe in the affirmations that you say, embody that these words you say, feel these words that you say, then it's not going to work. Faith without works is dead. You heard me say that. That's true. Now you understand what that verse means. You're not going to be, you can have all the faith you want. And you can believe that if you do not have the work, it's not going to work. I hope this makes sense to you. You can be saying affirmations, manifestations. You can say that all you want to. But if you cannot feel that, you cannot sit in that, you cannot see yourself doing it, then it's not going to work. Yep, you got to feel to heal. Some people, and I understand this because a lot of us are numb from intergenerational trauma where we got to see our people being gunned down in the street. We got to see raggedy stuff and be demoralized. And so now we got to control our emotions. And some of us are numb through PTSD. We got anxiety and all sorts of stuff. You got that. That was inherited to you. We are not connected with our emotions. We don't like the fear. We've had to shut it off to be able to survive, many of us. We didn't do it on purpose. It was a survival instinct. And now you're going to have to open that up. And some of us, we think our emotions are going to consume us. No, they're not. Okay, tonight we need to have contact with that because we're also receiving um spiritual messages through our emotions. That's just like when this stuff came up. When I get mad now, because I used to be upset. I was talking to somebody about that. I said, now I'm mad because I'm mad. Lord, I don't like to be mad. And then I'm upset because I'm mad because now you're messing my life. Now I'm upset because I'm upset. I know it don't make no sense, y'all, until it happened to you. You be like, oh, I'm so upset that, well, now I'm mad because I'm mad. Lord, look, I don't even like what is going. But when you have an emotion, now would I know that I'm mad? Because I remember talking to a counselor and that stuck with me. A lot of things I learned in therapy that stuck with me because I really got a chance to really ask myself questions. And plus our program, it really slows us down to start asking ourselves questions why we're feeling the way we're feeling. So I was talking to my therapist one day. I said, well, they were making me mad doing that, and I just don't understand why I was mad. And she said, that's because your boundaries were being invaded. There was an aha moment for me. I said, oh my God. I think of it, those are the times when I get pissed off and I don't even know that the people are invading my boundaries and I'm pissed off about it. And I don't know why I'm pissed off. And I put that together with my anger. And so now when it comes up and I'm like, okay, what's going on? Why I'm mad? And uh my spirit guides, my ancestors said, because they invaded your boundary, they are not treating you fair. So this is a normal response. It's a check engine light. I look at it as a check engine light. Something is going on. And no, you will not go any further with that. You need to place a boundary with them. They're playing with you, and don't let them play with you. Okay. And so I started looking at it, I had to change the way I started looking, uh, processing my emotions, really start asking my questions. Why do I feel like that? Why I'm so mad? Why am I so mad? And I think I've made great progress. I think I made great progress because I used to be when I was crazy. There was a lot of putting hands on people, and it's not that no more. But I do admit, it's not that those thoughts don't cross my mind because I have to tell the ancestors, I got PTSD, and where I come from, and I know my crazy. You know what I'm saying? I can go to my ancestors. My crazy ancestors. Please fix this. This is what I'm feeling right now. This is how I want to handle it, but I know you don't want me to handle it like that. Tell me how you want me to address that because you know how I used to address it. Not that those impulses they don't go away, but I've slowed down enough to question them. I'm proud of myself too. Listen, notice I was telling my ancestors the other day in this situation, I can see the growth in myself, boy. I can see the growth in myself. I still tell my ancestors I'm so proud of myself. I didn't put my hands on nobody, but I wanted to, but I didn't. I'm proud the way I'm addressing things. So when you start seeing this growth in yourself, you're gonna be proud of yourself too. Okay, and don't judge yourself. You're gonna have this. Why wouldn't you have it? Look into your ancestors. You were sick. You were sick. Our ancestors were sick. uh I know you probably a lot of us was born in a very difficult volatile family, and we dislike them. We are not happy with them, and I am not trying to give them a pass, but it makes it a little easier when you realize that raggedy people is the reason we messed up like this. Okay? I think it helps us the process go a little better when we just, come to that realization. Okay? You come to that realization. So know that's something I have it too. Okay? Our ancestors had it too. And that's why they work so closely with us. They're why they're so forgiving with us. That's why they love us so much. They know. Okay? They know you're sick. They want you to get well. They know what happened to us. So they're going to try their very best to be there for you, especially when you start acknowledging and start seeing it and open up your mouth and telling them how it's impacting you. They're going to help you. But as long as you think, I don't know how you would think ain't nothing the matter with you when you sitting up there with them crazy people over there. Why would you think that? It baffles me. You're tolerating financial abuse. They're study exploiting you. They're parasitic. So I don't know how you think it wouldn't be impacting you. Okay? So do know that you're gonna have to get, you was born in spiritual warfare. You were born into intergenerational trauma. None of us, if we didn't get, nobody's getting out unscathed. If you come to this reality, you're gonna be doing some type of healing work, because just coming here on this earth plane is traumatizing in itself many times. I'm so glad I can laugh like this, but I ain't lying. Because the more you get woke, you see how ghetto some of this stuff is. Y'all look right here hijacking people energy. You know what I'm saying? Y'all sitting up here stealing people energy any way you can, boy. This y'all scamming on people energy in small, little, and big ways. You ain't gonna see that yet until your spiritual eyes become open and you start protecting your energy. And I love people. I love what I do. But I even have to place boundaries with people getting in my boxes, because now you think because just because I'm a seasoned practitioner, you can get in my box and start hijacking my energy. No, 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 no. You're not hijacking my energy. If you want to do a fair energy exchange, you want to get in there in our community, you want to book a reading, yeah. But I would not allow you to feed off my energy like that. And you're probably not aware that you're doing it. Okay? They're probably the frequency you operating off of. But I'm not gonna go there with you. You're gonna be doing that by yourself. Okay? Yeah, I'm telling you, I used to throw hands in, and like when I tell you, if the ancestors can fix me, they can fix anybody. I'm telling you now, I ain't as raggedy as I was at first. I still got stuff to work on because I ain't perfect. But honey, if they can fix me, they can fix anybody. I look at it, honey, because honey, you look back at me and you'll be like, "Oh my God, Miss Penny, you was raggedy." Yes, girl, I was a girl. I was raggedy. I can admit, I can admit it. I know how far I've come, and I'm very proud of the work that I'm doing and the progress that I'm making. And you're gonna have that same experience. Okay, ancestors, no matter where you at, doesn't matter. Y- The ancestors can work with you. Ancestors don't make no junk. Okay? You can stand proud and stand in your power too. You shine your shoes and stand in your divine birthright. Okay? Don't let no shame or nothing get in the way of your magic. Okay? So ain't nobody better than you. I ain't better than you. Ain't nobody else better than you. Don't nobody know more than you. You know, you have the same potential as anyone else. So stop thinking somebody better than you, because they're not. Stop thinking you can't do it because you can. You know, you ain't come from ancestors who was quitters. If there was quitters, we wouldn't be here now, would we? Your ancestors ain't no quitter, and nor are you. Okay, so I got to get your mind out of that. Some of y'all mind be weak because you standing around them weak people over there. Okay, divination is to the practitioner, and magical practice as to the eyes and vision are to the body. You need it. Just like when that stuff started going on last night with that man, because they was double teaming me in the message, y'all. It was him and his associate, girl, they was double teaming me, and they was just letting me know everybody was against what I was doing. And I was starting to get a little fretful there. And ancestor said, "You better not get fretful. You better stand up. You brazen. You a warrior. We didn't raise now. You ain't no weakling. You ain't no wimp. Them people running scared. That's why they threatening you like that, because they can't do nothing with you. Can't do nothing with you. You know how fat your mouth is, girl. They can't do nothing with you. You ain't losing. You winning, and they getting pissed off. So now they got to come up with these threats, because they ain't never met nobody like you. So you better stand up there and you better stand in what you mean. And you mean it, because we got your back. We already swinging a sword for you. And so I stood in there and I did the little reading, and and the reading was just like, "You got this. Them people over there faking and jiving with you. Don't let all that huffing and puffing fool you. That's all they doing. That's what the enemy do. The enemy have to do that. See, they working a no whole, and I love this. I love when it's happening like this, because it's happening in real time. It's happening in real time, and I know I'm communicating with my aunts, and it never fails. That's why I say, it never fails. Don't let this. That's why you need to do divination, because sometimes when you're looking on the outside, it may be looking ugly. When really it's some shifting happening and you don't know it. It just look like it's not happening, but it's happening. That's why you need divination, and don't doubt them, okay? Because I'm telling you, you'll start to see. Once this start having you see it for yourself, you're gonna be realizing people faking jive too much. You ain't gonna be giving people too much of your energy, because you're gonna be trusting your ancestors so much, and you're gonna be able to see it for yourself. Okay? And I saw that for myself, and I woke up this morning, and people singing a whole brand new song. Now it's whatever. I know it's whatever, because I'm not playing with you and I'm not taking no abuse. My ancestors went through too much of that. I'm not going to allow you to do it to me, because if I'm allowing you to do it to me, I'm allowing you to do it to them. And they didn't raise me like that. They not building me up like that. And all the abuse and stuff stops right here. And I would do it respectfully and kindly. But I'm going to let you know I'm going to be your problem respectfully, because it ain't happening over here. And I can do it with a lot more elegance, dignity, and grace. Okay. I can mean what I say, but I don't have to say it mean. It takes practice, y'all. Okay. It takes practice. I didn't do this overnight. And you're gonna do it too. Okay. You ain't gonna worry about nothing as long as you stand on them ancestors. And that's you're gonna be a wonder to men. They're gonna be wondering how you do that. How they be so confident, because I got them standing on these ancestors, and I know they gonna help me. I don't know what you're doing. You're doing regular stuff, and I'm not doing that. Okay. You're gonna be the same way, I promise. Okay. Divination is so you need to know divination. Okay. It is important to know where we have been, where we are going, and where we are going. Okay. Where are we going? When are we going? Where are we going? We need to know that. What is happening now? Is it safe for us to do the work? What is the forecast, the spiritual forecast out there? We don't just be doing things without divination. We need to know if our quests and our magical exploits are prudent and fruitful, or foolish and empty. We also need to know when we are accurately seeking the world as it really exists, or if we are acting under terrible bias of delusion or unfounded opinion. Divination can help us see the world around us, know ourselves, and understand our life's path at the present and in the future. Without divination, we are blind and subject to delusion. Not only does divination show us our path, but it can also tell us when we need something. Okay? So again, listen to your divination, divination. Don't be expecting for your divination to tell you everything that you want to hear. That's not what that's for. That is to tell you what is going on, so you can approach any issue accordingly. It's letting you know, just like the young lady did the tarot card reading. Tarot card reading told her she wasn't gonna pass the test. Well, she went and took the test anyway, and she flunked, and then she got mad at the tarot cards. The tarot cards, and now the tarot cards evil. What the hell? Girl, why didn't you reschedule the test? Why do the tarot reading and get the answer and not follow the guidance? You got people that do that and then mad at the reading. The reading ain't gonna change if you don't change. It's there to give you a heads up so you give you more options and choices so you won't make the mistake. So don't get mad at the cards. It's there to help you make the shift and change so you can bring better energy or improve your life or give you better choices. You got people be mad at the tarot card reader because the tarot card reader telling the truth because they want some lies. But I can't lie to you because if these spirits saying that you need to do some work, then you need to do some work. I can't help because you think you perfect. Then you need to go deal with your ego. What made you think you was perfect? Who told you that? Who told you that? Because I don't know who telling you that. Because this ain't that. And if you was perfect, why did you come to me? If wasn't nothing wrong with your life, why are you sitting in front of me? I be wanting to tell people that if everything, why you book a read with me if everything perfect? It can't be perfect because I'm looking at you. You want some kind of answers. That's why I'm looking at you. If you knew everything about your life, why am I looking at your life? You got people like that book a reading, but they don't follow the guidance. I can't fool with them. Okay. And more than likely, sometimes the ancestors would guide me to just block them people. Because they'll just say block them. Because we're not gonna let them play with you like that. Sometimes the ancestors said block them. We don't want you to have no contact with them or anything like that. Block them because they want to play and they think they can play with you. And we don't want them doing that. Okay. Sometimes I just block them because I don't need that kind of energy around me. I don't want to even see you again. And then most of the time the ancestors know you have no intentions on doing the right thing. So there's no sense in me trying to help you. You wouldn't be a right candidate for helping because that's not what you want. Okay. Got to tell it like it is. The tarot or our oracle card will show you the sequence of events of past, present, and probable future. Sometimes that happen. Astrology is a divination technique can tell you not only when something will occur and give you an idea of potentiality behind the combination of your personal Latin abilities. That's why I love doing natal charts. I love doing your natal charts because it gives you a syllabus to me of the soul work you should be doing. It's gonna lay it all right. You're gonna be confused about what shadow work you need to be doing, what type of magic or work you should be looking at, what you'll be good at. You won't have to wonder about what type of abilities that you have because you're gonna see it in your chart. And I find it to be 80 to 90% correct. And some people are baffled by it because they're not in alignment with it, so they can't see all these abilities. And I just like, I don't believe. Well, ma'am, I don't know. I can't make you believe that. You asked me what was in there. I told you what was in there. That is what's in there. Now, if you don't believe that, I can't help you believe that. But if you do the work, you're gonna see all that line up together. I've had, like I say, it never made sense when I had a reading where somebody's telling me something. It never made sense then, and then as time go on, I go back. Oh my God, they told me that. Oh my gosh, and I couldn't see that at first. Now I see that now, and I have that with a lot of my readings as well. They may not make sense, but then further on down the road, things start to unfold, and what I said is what is. You have that happen sometimes too. Some of these spirits will speak so far into the future, you can't see it. I've done that on many occasions, and then people call me back. Oh, Miss Penny, this did happen. Oh my God, this stuff you was telling me it hadn't happened yet. But it happened. It just happened. And sometimes, and I have to tell people sometimes, especially anything about the future or anything like that. Sometimes spirits will share with me something that didn't happen, and it may not make sense to you then. It may not have even happened yet. Okay. It might happen on down the road, and then the reading makes sense. And that doesn't mean that it's wrong. It just has not happened yet. It hasn't unfolded. And sometimes these spirits work like that. That happens occasionally. Okay. So again, looking at your oracle cards, looking at your astrological chart, they can provide a lot of insight and information to you. The more you learn about you, the better you're gonna be. Stop worried about other people. Individuals who have knowledge and taste for astrology can use it, but keeping things simple is better. For energy workings, I look at the lunar phase and do workings at the convenient times during the night. I like working with lunar phase. I do I like working with lunar phase, especially when it comes to releasing and calling stuff in. When it comes to healing and things like that, especially during that full moon, that's the best time to do healing and releasing work. So I love working with the moon when it comes to releasing work. Now, when it comes to healing and making changes in my thoughts and stuff, I love working with archangels because they really change the way we think really well. They really help us understand and comprehend the spiritual sciences a lot more rapidly and with more detail. I love working with archangels. And again, with me, I didn't choose to work with archangels. I kind of stumbled into them and they start working with me. And I studied them for about 10, 15 years. I've been working with them. And so that's who I've been working with. And the archangels introduced me to the ancestors. Okay. And then the ancestors have me working with sometimes working with other spirits, but the archangels, they just took an interest in me. That's just how it unfolded for me. I don't really have an answer for that. Never asked them, why did it turn out like that? But yeah, that's how it happened for me. Spiritual Roots Hoodoo Community was created to provide practitioners with a structured, authentic, and supportive learning environment where hoodoo can be studied safely, practiced consistently, and understood within the historical and spiritual context. Rather than encouraging rushed learning or pursuit of quick spiritual results, our community emphasized patience, discipline, study, ritual, and the development of a genuine relationship with elevated ancestors. We believe that transformation occurs through knowledge, consistency, and direct experience rather than shortcuts. That is the way we approached it there. So if you're looking for a shortcut, you think you're not going to doing the work, I invite you to sit with this because this is our environment over there. I don't want you to have any surprises over there. Okay. And say you get over here and you didn't know it was going to be like that. Yes, you did because Miss Penny broke it down to you that you were going to be doing work and that you were going to be learning, healing, and studying and working with your elevated ancestors. I made that very clear to you. So you don't have to be confused about that. Okay. That's why I'm coming here today. Is that experience I had the other day, I'm like, I have goodness. I have to come here and let's talk about this so people won't get any misconception or false ideas in their head. Okay. One of the greatest challenges facing many practitioners today is information overload. Countless opinions, social media videos, and conflicting teachings often leave practitioners confused about where to begin. And we take that all out. We remove all that confusion when you come over there in our community. Spiritual Roots was designed to remove that confusion by providing structure, resources, guided discussions, practical instructions, and historical context that answer questions while helping practitioners build strong foundation. Our goal is not simply to teach rituals, but to cultivate wise, confident practitioners who understand why they perform spiritual work and how to do it responsibly. I want you thinking so you can have a solid foundation in your practice. You can be confident in your practice and you know what you're doing. So next time you talking to me, you're gonna be telling me what you was doing. I know when you're doing the work, 'cause you're gonna be telling me what you did. I know. You ain't gonna be asking me nothing. You're gonna be telling me what you did and your results. Okay? At the center of our learning environment is the understanding that hoodoo is practical, a spiritual tradition for everyday life. It addresses concerns that affect us all, including physical, emotional, mental, spiritual well being. It has always been a tradition rooted in solving real problems experienced by ordinary people. Because of this practical foundation, every lesson, discussion, and resource within our community is intended to connect directly to the realities of practitioners, what they face in their daily lives. Okay, so you're gonna be getting practical stuff over there. And when you tell me that you got a problem going on there, if I can get to the resource quick, I'm gonna hurry up and give you the resource so you can start understanding their work and get started on it. Okay. And some workers I haven't did before. You might have an issue to come up. I've never did that work before, but I know where you can find the information and get started on working on it. Okay. And that is the beauty with that environment over there. Developing a healthy relationship with elevated ancestors remains one of the most central pillars of educational philosophy. Throughout the community, practitioners are encouraged to seek guidance from their ancestors rather than relying solely upon personal assumptions or internet opinions. I don't want you, there's no reason for you to do that there. Okay, that's gonna mess you up if you are following people and they telling you how to do stuff. No, you got a guidebook to help you to work with any spirit that you want to work with. You don't be doing what other people tell you to do. You doing what your ancestors tell you to do. Stop looking at people. Okay? Ancestors possess wisdom and earned through generations of lived experience and spiritual evolutions. Building trust with them requires patience, humility, listening, and regular communication. Through prayer, offerings, divination, meditation, dreams, and rituals, practitioners gradually establish relationships that provide wisdom, healing, correction, protection, and direction throughout life. If you're interested in our community, you can click the link in our YouTube on our YouTube channel on our bio over there. There should be a link there to take you right over to Patreon. Or if you're on TikTok, it should be in our bio. The link should be in our bio. Take you right over there to Patreon. Okay. And we have a pinned post in there. I don't know what's going on because one member said, Miss Penny, it ain't even pinned. I had to do a search for it and it pulled up that way. I don't know, but I pinned it over there on the page, on the Patreon page. There's a pinned post there that lists all the things where you need to get started at with hyperlinks on it. When you click on the hyperlink, it opens up the book and resource so you can start educating yourself on the practice. Okay. So everything is over there. I leave no stone unturned. If there's something that you want to discuss and want me to talk about, bring it to my attention and we can talk about it. Okay. Our learning environment emphasizes honesty above fantasy. Hoodoo requires practitioners to know themselves with complete transparency. Okay. Personal growth demands that we examine our strengths, weaknesses, fears, habits, motivations, emotional wounds, and patterns of behavior. Shadow work, self examination, and soul searching become valuable companions to ritual work because true transformation begins within. Rather than avoiding uncomfortable truths, we encourage practitioners to confront them with courage. Healing unresolved trauma, addressing limiting beliefs, and strengthening emotional health often becomes necessary steps towards successful spiritual practice. Okay. So again, we're gonna encourage it over there. So don't get over there and act like that ain't gonna be over there because it is. And if you in a group like this and it's not being addressed like this, I would be concerned about that because all of this, you know, it comes with this. It's just nowhere around it. Ultimately, spiritual roots is more than a collection of lessons, rituals, or discussion. It's a structured learning environment dedicated to helping practitioners cultivate wisdom, strengthen personal power, build meaningful relationships with their elevated ancestors, and develop a lifelong hoodoo practice grounded in authenticity, discipline, self knowledge, and consistent spiritual growth. Our hope is that every practitioner leaves not only with greater knowledge, but with the confidence, discernment, and practical skills necessary to navigate life with courage, purpose, and enduring support of spirit. I want you to be strong. I want you to know what you're doing when you go to that altar. Okay. And I will know because you'll be sharing results with me. You'll be telling me what you did and how things are unfolding for you. If anything I have said about our community interests you, and you are ready to do the work, you are ready to be responsible for growth and progress, we would love to have you in our community and take this beautiful journey with you. As a mentor, my job is to encourage you, ensure you make progress, and provide real time insight to help you cultivate a solid foundation in your practice. Okay? Now I've covered that. If anybody have any questions that's new to our community and you are wondering how that learning environment looks over there, I have broken this down in real time, taking my time to help you understand what to expect over there. Okay? And how it is structured. So you won't have any surprises about it when you get over there because I have it broke it down here. If you're wondering why things are the way they are, then I have given you a full explanation here. Okay. Anyone have any questions? I'm getting ready to shut down this live stream. I thought it was important because this came up this week, and I said, you know what? I've never just really talked about uh, this environment over here on Patreon and how it's structured. So let me come here and talk about that. And so that's why I talked about it. Okay, I don't see any questions or anything coming up in the chat. And again, you have any questions about our community? I hope I provided a lot of answers here. Okay, I'll see you next time. And I can't wait to see a lot of you guys in our Sunday meeting.